Chapter 6:14. Tang Yan stopped talking, which made Feng Shanshan even more speechless. Other than the case, you seem to be tight-lipped about everything else. Don't you feel tired of doing things halfway and saying things halfway? Chen Zhao asked. I'm used to it. Well, Feng Shanshan felt as if she had punched cotton. It was weak and meaningless. Tang Yan, whoever marries you will definitely die of exhaustion. After saying that, Feng Shanshan looked out of the window angrily and did not want to communicate further with Tang Yan. This person's mouth was really too difficult to pry open. He might as well suffocate to death. After returning to the police station, she was still angry. The professor could see it. What are you angry about? Professor, has Captain Tang always disliked communicating with others? The professor couldn't help but laugh. Because of him. I think it's quite tiring to interact with him. You can't blame him. When he first left the police academy, he went undercover and stayed in a drug gang for a year. This kid has always been quiet. After he came back that year, he became even more quiet. He became very thoughtful and thought a lot. When he was undercover, he was forced to do a lot of things that he didn't want to do. Although he succeeded in eliminating the gang in the end, he became very depressed because of it. In the next few years, he was basically a workaholic. He never let anyone know what was on his mind. He was always alone. If you ask him to say what was on his mind like a normal man, he won't be able to say it. This person will carry the sky on his own even if it collapses. So, it's indeed a little tiring for a normal person to communicate with him. Because of this, his relationship is not smooth. He will either be betrayed or sold out. Didn't you say that he doesn't have a girlfriend? He doesn't have a girlfriend. His previous girlfriend has been with him for a few years, the professor replied. Did you misunderstand something when he first came? This person likes to pretend to be ignorant no matter where he goes. It's a habit that he developed when he was undercover. Maybe it's better for him to get along with you. If I accidentally said something and caused a misunderstanding, it must be to make him seem friendlier. Since you don't like him, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you know. Feng Shanshan wouldn't tell the professor that she had always thought that with Tang Yan's EQ, he was still a pure man. How did his last girlfriend die? That kid was too busy, so he went out to find someone else to have an affair. He contracted an illness and died. The professor said casually, he was just like that. There was nothing he could do about it. After knowing about this, he used his own money to treat the girl's illness. After she passed away, he set up a tombstone and sometimes went to take a look. Feng Shanshan fell silent after hearing that. She felt that she was being very unreasonable. In Tang Yan's eyes, she was a delicate woman, wasn't she? That was why he could go to work the next day after being shot and ignore his own pain. Thinking of this, Feng Shanshan felt that the pain she had suffered was not even worth mentioning. She had just been hurt by a man like that, and she wanted to die. She didn't believe in love anymore. Tang Yan, who had been betrayed, still had to grit his teeth and treat her. In his heart, what did he think about feelings? Feng Shanshan felt that she really couldn't get close to him anymore. This man was like a bottomless black hole. The more she explored, the more she couldn't find the answer, and the more she wanted to go deeper. In the evening, Xing Xiao just got off work. He wanted to call Mu Chichi to ask where she was, but he received a call from Suzy Pei. Young Master Xing, are you free? Something happened over here. Can I trouble you to come over for a bit? I can't tell Chichi. Okay, I'll be there in half an hour, Xing Xiao replied. Thank you. Suzy Pei rarely took the initiative to call him, unless it was about Mu Chichi. This also proved that Suzy Pei was really in trouble. That was why she took the initiative to ask him for help. So, he gave Muchichi a call. "Where are you?" "In the team," Muchichi replied casually. "When are you going home?" "I'll ask Su-che to pick you up. It might be a little late." "After 9 o'clock, Muchichi replied. "What's the matter?" "No, you can continue." Having said that, Xingxiao hung up and drove straight to the small villa. On the other side, Muchichi hung up and looked at her aunt. "He's coming, it's already dark, and it might snow later. You should remind him to come slowly." Su Zipei patted Muchichi's cheek. "Go get ready." This time, Xingxiao really did not expect that it was the little one's trick. He really thought that something really happened to Su Zipei. When he rushed to the small villa, he discovered that the garden outside the small villa was filled with little light bulbs that looked like stars. There was an open-top dining car parked in front of the villa, its hood filled with red roses and scented candles. It was a small paradise. And opposite the dining car hung Muchichi's love letter. Xingxiao chuckled. He did not expect that the ceremony he had been longing for would come so soon. But Muchichi was not there, and there was an arrow on the ground that pointed to the love letter. Xingxiao walked to it and took the letter, but he would never have imagined that Muchichi had written the letter while fantasizing about confessing her love to him. "Xiao. Brother. Actually, I'd rather call you Xiao Xiao. However, I know that you probably don't fancy a little girl like me. You only brought me back to thank me for saving you. You definitely don't know how enchanting you are. I should have spent every day and night after my rebirth on dealing with Mu Tangxue, but I realized that I'm more attached to something I can't let go of, and that is to be by your side as much as possible. You definitely don't know that I like you in secret, do you? I want you to know, but I'm afraid that you would know. What should I do if you don't like me or even hate me? I'm afraid that my aunt would know, and that she would think that I like my benefactor and bite the hand that feeds me. When I see you, I want to get close to you. I even dream of you, dream of being intimate with you, but you're so unpredictable and uncontrollable. Even if I work hard for 10,000 years, I still can't catch up to you, right? And yet, I yearn for your warmth so much. You don't have any other woman but me. Even if I'm just a 17-year-old girl, I'm special to you, aren't I? That's just wishful thinking. Because I like you. I like you so much that I want to shout it out loud. I really can't control myself. But I'm worried that you would hate me if you knew. If you don't hate me, then open the door to our home. If you do, just pretend that I'm having the most beautiful dream. Xingxiao's heart softened when he read the letter. He had exposed Muchichi before, and never gave her a chance to write a letter. Chapter 6:15. Moreover, how could he hate the little one whom he had spent so much effort raising? That little one really wanted a spanking on the butt. Xingxiao folded the letter into a very small square and kept it in the pocket of his windbreaker. He could keep the letter until he died. If his children and grandchildren were interested, they could take it out and study it in the future. After putting away the letter, Xingxiao turned his eyes to the closed door of the little mansion. When the little thing wanted to be romantic, she would do it one after another. She was very artistic, and he liked this. Then, he strode expectantly towards the little mansion. Behind the door was something he could not let go of for the rest of his life. Xingxiao reached out to push the door open, thinking that he would see his little one after opening it. However, Muchichi seemed to be playing a game that night. There was a huge sea of roses in the living room of the little mansion, and in the middle of it was a wall of roses. The wedding ring he had asked the designer to make was embedded on the wall, and he did not expect that his little one would put it on the wall. But where was she? Xingxiao was about to turn around when a pair of slender arms came from behind and hugged him. Xingxiao smiled and was about to turn around, but Muchichi did not let him. Do you recognize that pair of rings? Xing Xiao was speechless. Where did it come from? He would never admit that he did not recognize it. You don't recognize it? It's fine. I know that it's a pair of rings. It was designed by someone who stared at the designer for 12 hours a day. So what? Xing Xiao snorted softly. I thought you were going to hold it in until the end of time and hide it from me. You're such a thief. You actually gave it to Mom. Mu Qiqi turned Xing Xiao around and looked up at him. But I knew it was prepared for you the moment I saw the ring. It's in the shape of a six-pointed star, and our important dates and English names are engraved on the inside. I wouldn't have prepared that. Xing Xiao reached out and took the ring from the rose bush. Put it on. You're my exclusive little one. Am I not? Mu Qiqi retorted. Xing Xiao lifted her hand and put the ring on her ring finger. The six-pointed diamond ring shone brightly. Not only that, Xing Xiao even lifted her hand and kissed it softly. Now it's complete. Mu Qiqi took off the ring on the wall and slid it between his fingers. Everything I have belongs to you, whether it's my body or my soul. Even if I have nothing, I will follow you to the ends of the earth and love you for the rest of my life. At that, Xing Xiao lifted her chin. He wanted to kiss her, but remembered that they were in the small mansion. Don't worry, Auntie took the baby to Uncle's old home. Baby, at those two words, Xing Xiao suddenly thought that it would be the most wonderful thing in the world if he could have a baby that looked 70% like Mu Qiqi in his arms. However, she was still too young. He didn't want to deprive her of the right to be happy and have to bear the responsibility of a mother. That would be too unfair to her. Seeing that Xing Xiao did not move, Mu Qiqi stood on her tiptoes and kissed the man's thin lips. But just as Xing Xiao was about to carry her, she blocked his chest. I learned how to make steak from Auntie. Won't you do me the honor and try it? And do you know how hard it is to decorate the dining car outside? Xing Xiao looked at the little one and pinched her ear. I'll let you go for now. Mu Qiqi broke free from Xing Xiao's embrace and went to the kitchen. After a while, she put the plate in the dining car. I wanted to learn to be a good wife and mother and take care of your food and clothing. I don't need a nanny. I knew you would answer like that. Just take care of my heart. Xing Xiao said lazily. Then, he took another bite of the steak. How is it? Xing Xiao put down his knife and fork, wiped his mouth and got up. He directly carried Mu Qiqi. I forbid you from entering the kitchen from now on. I prefer you to feed me in other ways. Xing Xiao thought that the surprise of the night was over when they had dinner. He did not expect that there would be more romance in the bedroom. Mu Qiqi's room was not big. But unexpectedly, there was a huge bathtub in the middle of the room. She had asked someone to make it. Men actually liked these simple and rough things the most. In order to feed him, the stomach was actually the second most important thing. When Xing Xiao saw that the water was ready, he lifted Mu Qiqi's chin and said, Are you that bad? You like it? Mu Qiqi answered confidently. Was there a need to say it? Of course he liked it. The most direct way to like a woman was to occupy her inch by inch, whether it was her body or her soul. In general, he liked it when the little one would open up for him from time to time. Because for him, what else in this world could please him? It was nothing more than doing the happiest thing in the world with the little one. Tonight, the little mansion was full of romance and ambiguity. Mu Qiqi thought that she did not have to look at the taillights of Xing Xiao's car like she said in the confession letter. Because now, the man was beside her, inside her body. At the same time, Feng Shanshan was watching TV alone in the living room. Because she could finally understand what it meant to be awkward. She had learned a lot about Tang Yan from the professor during the day. Now that she was looking at the person in question, she did not know how to face Tang Yan. She did not know whether she should be good to him or not. But just as she was thinking seriously, Tang Yan's doorbell rang. Feng Shanshan thought it was the property management again, so she went to open the door barefoot. But she saw a man and a woman standing outside the door. Their expressions were also very surprised. "Who are you?" Feng Shanshan was stunned for a moment, but she could feel the hostility from the other party. "I'm just a tenant." Feng Shanshan casually made up an identity. But what kind of person was Tang Yan? He was a neat freak and he disliked people entering his house the most. It would be strange if he had a tenant. At this time, Tang Yan also came out of the study. When he saw the two people outside the door, he frowned. "Your guest." "Come in," Tang Yan said directly. The two of them rushed into Tang Yan's living room. But a few minutes later, they started arguing. It was mainly the woman's voice. "It's only been 2 years since Xiao Jia passed away, and you already have a new lover. And you even brought her home. This is the house you bought for Xiao Jia. How can there be another woman here?" Feng Shanshan was speechless. Damn it. Couldn't they be quieter when they were arguing? She could not even focus on the TV. Chapter 6:16. Last month, we lost some money in business. We wanted to ask for Xiao Jia's bank card back. Hasn't it been kept by you? Tang Yan looked up at his ex-girlfriend's brother and sister-in-law with a cold expression. "I don't have her bank card here." "Nonsense. When you bought this house, she said that she gave the card to you and asked you to be in charge of the renovation," Ren Jia's brother said. "I returned it to her. I didn't use a single cent of her money for everything here," Tang Yan replied. "Tang Yan, I didn't expect you to be such a person. Xiao Jia is already gone. Shouldn't you return what belongs to her to us? After all, we're her family." Feng Shanshan couldn't take it anymore, so she pushed the door open and entered the study. She said to the two of them, "I think you could try asking another man where your sister's money was spent." When the two of them heard this, their faces turned red. "Tang Yan, I didn't expect you to say such a thing. He didn't tell me. He never mentioned your sister at all." Feng Shanshan crossed her arms and looked like she was watching a show. "I don't know how you have the face to come here. Actually, this is good. Shouldn't your family pay for your sister's medical expenses? Tang Yan even paid for it. After all, you're her family." The two of them didn't expect Feng Shanshan to be so eloquent. They were speechless. "Tang Yan, is this how you humiliate Xiao Jia? I've really misjudged you. I'll help Tang Yan calculate the medical expenses later. I can round it off for you. This house is old, so it can be renovated." When the two of them heard Feng Shanshan's serious tone, they waved their hands and said, "Let's go ask elsewhere. We'll leave right away." Where was her attitude when she scolded them just now? Feng Shanshan looked at the two of them leaving mockingly. She was really disdainful. "Everyone says that I have a bad taste in people. You might as well give in," Feng Shanshan mocked. "I'll go back to live after I've finished renovating the house." Tang Yan was speechless. After saying that, Feng Shanshan was about to leave, but Tang Yan grabbed her arm. "I didn't use anyone's money to buy this house, and I didn't buy it for anyone. It's just that this is where I lived when I was young. That's all," Tang Yan explained. "That girl lived there before?" "Yes." "Then I still have to move." Feng Shanshan struggled out of his grasp. "Tang Yan, you might be mistaken. The place where you lived when you were young might be next door." Feng Shanshan pointed at her house. However, Tang Yan looked at Feng Shanshan without saying a word. "Are you jealous?" If I admit that I'm jealous, will you move? I live next door. Tang Yan's eyes lit up, but he did not say anything. Perhaps Feng Shanshan felt that this was indeed a little too much, so she said, I can tolerate this being your study, but I won't allow you to live here. You eat and live in my house, and this is your studio. That doesn't count as you leaving your parents, does it? Move, or not. Move. Tang Yan answered straightforwardly. Feng Shanshan was finally satisfied when she heard this word. She smiled. I'll get someone to smash the walls of the 2 courtyards tomorrow. So, you admit that you're jealous? Tang Yan was still struggling with this question. Anyone would feel uncomfortable. If you think that I'm jealous, then so be it. Feng Shanshan replied proudly. But can you blacklist those 2 people from now on and never ask about them again? Haven't you done enough? You even want to support their family. Do you think you're Xing Xiao who earns 100 million a day? No, I should say that even if Xing Xiao earns 100 million a day, he won't do such a stupid thing. I'm not good at solving these things, Tang Yan said straightforwardly. Good my ass. Feng Shanshan cursed. When facing shameless people, it's the easiest to throw them out. Let's not talk about it anymore. I'm going to sleep. I still have to get a master to smash the walls tomorrow. Tear down your room and make it a big workshop. I can also do experiments in it. Why didn't I think of it earlier? Tang Yan watched Feng Shanshan walk out of the study and secretly curled his lips. This was the advantage of having someone to take care of him. Fortunately, Feng Shanshan was a little bad and refused to suffer losses. If it were someone else. If it were someone else, he wouldn't care about Shangxin. Of course, if these 2 people met Mu Qiqi, they might end up worse. After all, Xing Xiao was good at scheming behind people's backs. He could always make you die without knowing it. It was almost New Year's Eve. Many people in the circle had already received the news. They knew that Xing Xiao would definitely be in the limelight this time. After all, he was a famous young entrepreneur. But as the news spread, it changed in the ears of some people. For example, Xing Kai and Yi Jingqing. Xing Kai hated Xing Xiao, but Yi Jingqing hated Mu Qiqi even more. Xing Kai could not do anything to Xing Xiao for now, but Yi Jingqing might not. If Xing Xiao attended the state banquet, it meant that his image must be absolutely positive and positive. However, Mu Qiqi was Xing Xiao's wife. She poisoned her own sister. What right did she have to be in this glory? Moreover, if this matter was blown up before New Year's Eve, could Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao still attend the state banquet with a clear conscience? He really wanted to see it. Early in the morning, in the banyan courtyard, they were discussing the issue of image. Grandpa Shin came to the banyan courtyard for breakfast and started to lecture Mu Qiqi. Now that Xing Xiao is a famous entrepreneur and he's going to the state banquet, you can't continue to be wild. You have to pay attention to your image and don't drag Xing Xiao down. You are the granddaughter of the Shin family. You have to remember this. Grandpa, don't you know me? Usually, other than going to school, the police station, or accompanying Xiao Xiao to work in Zhongting, I don't even go to the bars that my peers like to go to. Mu Qiqi felt wronged. Well, Qiqi is really a good girl. Mama Xing quickly spoke up for her. I was thinking of having a reunion dinner with everyone on New Year's Eve. But since they are going to the state banquet, let's prepare it on the first day of the new year. I will discuss this matter with Huang Yu, Mama Xing said with a smile. Mu Qiqi probably did not expect that she would be mired in a scandal after promising Grandpa Shin in the morning. Still, Mu Qiqi wasn't a pushover now. At 10:00 in the morning, the criminal investigation team received a report about a murder case in the slums. A girl in her 20s was burned into charcoal. Why did the slums come to us to report it? Where's the police in the district? The team members complained helplessly. It's the new year now. There are not many police officers. It's normal for them to be transferred here. Chapter 6:17. The police rushed to the burnt house immediately. The body was on the empty ground not far away. Captain Tang, the house was badly burned. After the fire was put out, we searched the house and found these things. The police passed the items they had found to Tang Yen. The student ID of the nursing school and some other things that could prove her identity. But that was not the most important thing. According to the student ID, the girl's name was Mu Tongxue. Everyone was shocked when they saw it. Wasn't this Mu Qiqi's sister? Coincidentally, Feng Shanshan was smashing the wall at home today, and Mu Qiqi was preparing for the state banquet at home. So, it was the senior from the forensics team who went out to the field. Can you confirm her identity? Tang Yan asked the forensic doctor. Based on the degree of burn, we can confirm that the victim is a female between the ages of 18 to 22. As for the rest, we can only tell you after the autopsy. Confirm if the victim is Mu Qiqi's sister as soon as possible, Tang Yan said. It was not easy to deceive him. After all, Yi Jingqing had just returned and was looking for Mu Tongxue. But now, Mu Tongxue was dead here. He did not believe that there was no story behind it. As for what the secret was, he would only know after the investigation. If you want to confirm if this is Mu Qiqi's sister, call her back to the lab. I'll do a DNA comparison. Then, we'll know, the forensic doctor said. Tang Yan nodded. Then, he called Mu Qiqi. Do you have time? Go back to the police station. There's a case in the morning. It's related to you. Mu Qiqi's body stiffened when she heard Tang Yan's words. I'll be there right away. Mu Qiqi was trying on clothes at home. But when she received Tang Yan's call, she did not delay. After all, Tang Yan said that the case was related to her. Mama Xing drove Mu Qiqi to the police station personally. When Tang Yan saw Mu Qiqi, he said, "We found a burnt body in the slums. It might be your sister." Mu Qiqi's heart skipped a beat. Although she did not believe that Mu Tongxue would be killed, what if it was? That was why she went to the morgue. After all, she was the one who understood Mu Tongxue the most in this world. Looking at the charred corpse lying on the autopsy table, Mu Qiqi's thoughts were immediately pulled back to Su Ziqing's death. It was the same, lying on the bed, burned to a crisp. Qiqi, for accuracy, let's do a DNA comparison first. You can take a look at the body later, the senior from the forensics team told her. Mu Qiqi glanced at the charred corpse and nodded. All right. After collecting the sample, Mu Qiqi returned to the morgue. But when she got close to the corpse, she could clearly feel that it was not Mu Tongxue. No. Tang Yan leaned against the door. Seeing that she had come to a conclusion, he asked, "Evidence?" Although this corpse is very close to our age, she had never given birth. Moreover, even if she was burnt to a crisp, I can be sure that this is not Mu Tongxue with delicate skin and flesh. The joints of the corpse's hands are relatively thick, and the knees are severely damaged. Look at her bones carefully. There are many scars on her limbs, and they have been worn over the years. That means that the owner of this corpse has lived in a relatively harsh environment for many years. In her clenched fist, there is only a little skin tissue left to prove that her skin is rough, which does not match Mu Tongxue at all. But she died in the slum house that you prepared for Mu Tongxue, Tang Yan emphasized. No, she wasn't burned to death. We've seen cases of people being burned to death before. The body was charred, but it was still lying flat. This can only mean one thing. When the fire started, she was no longer breathing. We can also draw this conclusion from her nose and lungs, Mu Chichi said. You still don't understand what I mean. Tang Yen looked at Mu Chichi seriously. Someone set up a trap to lure you. They are targeting you. What you need to know now is the motive of this person. Captain Tang suspects that someone found the corpse and pretended to be Mu Tongxue to cause trouble. It's easy to find out whether they killed someone or stole the corpse. But you have to know what the person behind this is trying to do as soon as possible. You might be able to guess who the person behind this is. After all, he is the only one who wants to contact Mu Tongxue. But I don't have a clue what he wants to do. Mu Chichi thought about it carefully and answered. This matter does not belong to our jurisdiction. Another team will come and take over soon. Although the informant called us, in principle, we have to hand over the case. After all, this is not a special case. I understand, Captain Tang. That's why I asked you to come over for the autopsy. I want you to be mentally prepared. While the two of them were talking, the team in charge of the burnt corpse case had already arrived at the entrance of the police station. Seeing Mu Chichi, the captain smiled and said, I heard that the person who died is your sister. I've examined the corpse. It's not her. Our forensics team will give me an answer whether it's true or not. We don't need your team to worry about the cases in our jurisdiction. At the same time, Mu Chichi, you should go back with me and help with the investigation. After all, that house is where your sister used to live, and the things found in it all point to your sister. We've already done a DNA comparison. It will be out soon, the senior from the forensics team interrupted. Then we'll talk about it when it's out. Having said that, he turned around and left. His tone was arrogant and very annoying. It seems that the police there will not give us any face. Not long after Tang Yen finished speaking, Mu Tongshue's case became a hot topic in the afternoon. After all, Mu Chichi and Xing Xiao had always been famous in Jianchuan. Moreover, the matter between her, the Mu family, and Mu Tongxue was a hot topic that everyone knew. So, once something happened to Mu Tongxue, the matter immediately started to spread. Her sister's tragic death is related to the grudge of the past. Mu Tongshue's death might be related to her sister. A thought in heaven and a thought in hell. Her sister enjoyed a happy life, but she lost her life. They did not dare to directly mention Xing Zhao's name, but it was not much better. The conspiracy theories and speculations were nothing more than to attract the attention of the public. They wanted to ride on the popularity. In just a short afternoon, Mu Chichi's case had become a hot topic in the city. Even Feng Shanshan, who was smashing the wall at home, received the news. So, she immediately called Mu Chichi. Is your sister dead? Chapter 618. I don't believe that there's no mastermind behind all this, said Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan said. Moreover, the audience has clearly been led astray. Now, no one cares if the person who died is Mu Tongxue. Because it's about the grudge between you two from the past, and with someone adding fuel to the fire, everyone wants to take the opportunity to mock you. Who asked you to be Xing Zhao's woman? They used to be envious and jealous of you. Now, all of them are venting their anger on you. There's no one else but Yi Jingqing. Mu Chichi chuckled. I'm afraid he's not only trying to find trouble with me. There's another more important reason. He wants to find Mu Tongxue. Is he out of his mind? Feng Shanshan really could not understand Yi Jingqing's thoughts. Maybe he really likes Mu Tongxue, said Mu Chichi. However, Xing Xiao had not called her yet. She did not know if he had seen the news. Xing Xiao had 3 meetings in the afternoon. However, Su Che had already informed the media in advance to suppress the news. After Xing Zhao's meetings, they would think of a specific strategy. President, Madam is on the news. When the secretary saw Xing Zhao coming out, she quickly passed him the phone. But Special Assistant Su has already informed the media to suppress the news. Now, he has gone out to investigate the truth. After Xing Zhao read the news, the corner of his mouth slowly curled up. There was a hint of danger in his smile. Of course, there was also a hint of mockery. Fortunately, Su Che's reaction was fast enough. He did not wait for him to give the order. It was worth praising. It's not enough to just give the media an order. We need to threaten and give them an ultimatum. The state banquet was tomorrow night. But before that, they deliberately arranged such a big show. Was it to stop his little one from attending the banquet? Or was it to threaten him to hand over Mu Tongxue? Thinking of this, Xing Zhao immediately called Mu Qiqi. Where are you? In the police station, answered Mu Qiqi. Have you seen the news? The body is not Mu Tongxue, right? You know. Mu Qiqi exclaimed. Then, she realized something like this could not be hidden from Xing Zhao's eyes. Someone is deliberately trying to pull me out of the water. Xiao Xiao, Grandpa called me just now. I think he's right. I won't accompany you to the state banquet tomorrow because it's not good for me to show my face. If I agitate the netizens and harm Zhongting, I'll feel very bad. I haven't said anything yet. Stop making decisions, you stinky thing. I'll handle this, Xing Zhao said to Mu Qiqi. If you're involved, then it's very likely that you've been included in the scheme as well. Plotting against me. Xing Zhao's tone was full of mockery. It seems that someone is tired of living. Even if Yi Jingqing did it, he did it very discreetly. It would not be easy to find trouble with him. However, his move was vicious enough. Now that Zhongting was paying attention to a positive image, such a scandal was created because of Mu Qiqi. Should Xing Zhao help her or not? Whatever the image, Xing Zhao's decision to bring Mu Qiqi along had never changed, and would never change. Even when secretary he called him and advised him to be careful, he did not change his mind about bringing Mu Qiqi along. Brother, think about it carefully. If you really want to bring sister-in-law to the state banquet, then you have to solve her scandal within a day. Otherwise, if she goes to the state banquet, won't it be a slap to everyone's face? You have to know that such an occasion is not an ordinary banquet. I know. Don't worry. Under the pressure of Zhongting, it should not be difficult to make it disappear from the hot search list. The problem was how to deal with the mastermind behind this, Yi Jingqing. That afternoon, the DNA comparison report was out. The victim was indeed not Mu Tongxue, but the matter was already out of control. This Yi Jingqing is really disgusting. Knowing that Mu Qiqi was in trouble, Feng Shanshan did not even break the wall and went straight to the police station. At this time, Tang Yan said coldly, "You need evidence to speak and do things." Feng Shanshan ignored him and asked Mu Qiqi, "Anyway, have you thought of a solution?" I guess Yi Jingqing must have a bold plan in mind when he made such an arrangement. He thinks that by doing this, the public will misunderstand that the victim is Mu Tongxue. Then, we will hand over the real Mu Tongxue to clear the misunderstanding. He always thought that Mu Tongxue is in my hands. Mu Qiqi thought of this possibility. But if he really thinks so, he will lose. Because I really don't know where Mu Tongxue is. You have to pretend that you know even if you don't know. You have to trick that bastard to death. Mu Qiqi smiled. It seems that there is no other way. I can only choose the most direct way, which is to talk to the netizens, although I don't want to be famous at all. No, the victim is not Mu Tongxue. The police will clear this up sooner or later. Why do you need to talk to them? That's because Yi Jingqing knows that tomorrow is an important day. I have to be innocent. Mu Chi-Chi smiled helplessly. What day is it? The state banquet. Hearing this, Feng Shanshan suddenly realized something. That bastard is really good at calculating. Mu Chi-Chi did not say anything else. She only greeted the people at the police station and left. Xing Xiao's car was waiting outside. Mu Chi-Chi was afraid that there would be reporters waiting outside, so she quickly went to open the door. Xing Xiao smiled when he saw her. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid of trouble, said Mu Chi-Chi. I'm even more afraid of causing trouble for you. You don't have to worry about anything. You just need to attend the banquet with me in your best state tomorrow. Xing Xiao hugged Mu Chi-Chi's waist comfortingly. I've arranged an interview for you tomorrow morning. By then, you just need to do what you're best at. Leave Yi Jingqing to me. Does he want to know where Mu Tangxue is? He will never get it in this life, said Xing Xiao, holding Mu Chi-Chi's head tightly. Will it really not affect your image? Will it make you lose face at the state banquet? The company has a public relations team. Do you think my team is on the same level as Huang Yao? This team is dug out from the entertainment industry. Xing Xiao's tone was relaxed and extremely confident. They know better than you what the bloodthirsty netizens like. As for the other scores, we'll settle them after the state banquet. Mu Chi-Chi looked up at her man's eyes and nodded. Don't worry. I'll cooperate with you tomorrow. If secretary he really thinks that I'm not suitable to appear at the state banquet, I'll listen to your arrangement. Although I trust you, I won't be disappointed if I can't go. At most, I'll cheer for you on TV. You're quite open-minded. Xing Xiao did not say anything else. He did not need Mu Chi-Chi to know some things. Yi Jingqing thought too highly of himself. Did he think that he could play with him just because he knew how to act? He was really daydreaming. Chapter 6:19. In fact, Yi Jingqing had found the best team of blackmailers in the entertainment industry. Even if the news was suppressed, it would come back again with another trending topic. His purpose was clear. He wanted to make Mu Chi-Chi suffer. He knew that after the body was found to be not Mu Tangxue's, this matter would be cleared up. It would not be a threat to Xing Xiao to hand over Mu Tangxue. But he had already thought of a countermeasure. Even if Mu Chi-Chi cleared up the matter, he still had other plans. How could he only prepare one script? The news spread like wildfire. In the hospital, even Grandpa Xing could hear the nurses gossiping. This was one of the reasons why he objected to Mu Chi-Chi and Xing Xiao being together. Her birth would make the people around her suffer a lot of ridicule and humiliation. Xing Xiao would attend the state banquet tomorrow. But Mu Chi-Chi was being harassed by the media at this critical moment. Wasn't she deliberately making things difficult for Xing Xiao? Grandpa Xing's face darkened the whole night. But when he thought about it carefully, with Xing Xiao's ability, he always got through it safely. It was not his place to worry about it. But when he thought of Mu Chi-Chi's complicated and disgraceful birth, he pouted unhappily. When Xing Bowen entered the room, he saw Grandpa Xing's awkward expression. He could guess what was going on. So, he smiled. I came from Huang Yao to see you. I've been busy for the whole day. Don't you feel sorry for me? As long as Mu Chi-Chi's birth is not solved, Xing Xiao will be criticized. Their mouths belong to them. We can't control what they say. But if it gets out of hand, it will be ugly. Most importantly, this matter can be used by people with ulterior motives at any time. Grandpa Xing was a little helpless. I don't want that girl to be separated from Xing Xiao. I just think that if she can solve this problem, she will not be a burden to Xing Xiao. Grandpa Xing used the word burden. But he knew very well that even if it was not Mu Chi-Chi, no one would choose their birth. I can't say anything about sister-in-law and her twin sister. After all, I don't know what happened between them. But I believe in sister-in-law and Xing Zhao's judgment. Grandpa Xing thought for a while and finally waved his hand. I'll see how Xing Zhao attends the state banquet tomorrow. For Xing Zhao, if he did not show up at the state banquet with Xiao Qi, tomorrow, he would have no one to share his joy with. So no matter how others tried to stop him, he would definitely bring the little thing along with him. Still, that did not stop her imagination from running wild. She was afraid that she would embarrass Xing Zhao, afraid that her birth would become a laughing stock for him, which was why she was extremely nervous even in her dreams. This has nothing to do with Xiao Xiao. It has nothing to do with Xiao Xiao. Don't talk nonsense. My mommy is not a bitch. Xing Zhao was woken up by her. He propped himself up and looked at Mu Qiqi, who was sweating profusely while having a nightmare. Then, he gently caressed her head. When she relaxed, he lifted the blanket, put on a black robe and went to the study. It was only 3 in the morning. He had never thought that going to the state banquet would bring so much pressure to Xiao Qi. But it was precisely because of that he would bring her to the banquet regardless of the consequences. Because he wanted to tell others that he did not mind them talking about Qi-er's family background. On the other hand, Yi Jingqing was really tired of living. Did he want to look for Mu Tangxue? It was not that he could not, but he might have to suffer a lot. So, at 3 in the morning, Xing Zhao called Su Che. I have some voice recordings here. Help me find a few voice actors who are good at imitating. I want the results before dawn tomorrow. Receiving the task in the middle of the night, Su Che could only get up from his bed. He knew that Xing Zhao was suppressing the fire in his heart under Yi Jingqing's provocation. If it were in the past, he would have hung Yi Jingqing on the mountain and exposed him to the sun. But after half a year of settling down, he had matured a lot. He would never leave any traces behind, because he would not give his enemies any chance to attack him. The next day, Zhongting arranged an interview at 10 in the morning. So, Mu Qiqi went to the police station to report first. The corpse was stolen and the fire was set on purpose. This case is specially made for you. Feng Shanshan pointed at the corpse and said to Mu Qiqi, Tang Yan has brought people to verify the origin of the corpse early in the morning. After all, the corpse is 22 or 23 years old, and it's a fresh corpse. There shouldn't be many people who fit the criteria. Now that you have become the target of public criticism, what is your Xing CEO going to do? I've already arranged an interview to clarify the matter. Mu Qiqi shrugged. Even if you clarify the matter, you won't be able to get rid of the impact this matter has on your image. How are you going to attend the state banquet tonight? My image has never been good, Mu Qiqi said with mixed feelings. My birth, the grudge between Mu Tangxue and me, these are unchangeable facts, especially the fact that Mu Tangxue and I have 2 different fathers. How can it be good? Feng Shanshan shook her head after hearing that. It's also sad to be a group pet. If your life is too perfect, God will be jealous. Are you going to let Yi Jingqing go just like that? Mu Qiqi shook her head. I'm not a good person. But I'll go to Zhongting for the interview first. Let me know when you get the results. Feng Shanshan nodded. Go ahead. Not only was Mu Qiqi not a good person, but she also held a grudge. Yi Jingqing's bullying when he was young was still before he came back to China and stirred up trouble. But now that he was back, he was still so unscrupulous. Wasn't he looking down on her too much? Will this girl do something worrisome? The professor was a little worried. No, she won't. Feng Shanshan denied it directly. She learned from Xing Zhao. She won't be stupid enough to expose herself. It's stupid to sacrifice herself for some unworthy people. But this is a personal grudge. Let's see how she deals with it. It's a good state banquet. How embarrassing. The person behind this is too wicked. Feng Shanshan did not say anything. She just wanted to see what would happen to Yi Jingqing. It might be okay to provoke Mu Qiqi. Although she wanted to take revenge, Mu Qiqi would not go too far. But Xing Xiao was different. Yi Jingqing was stepping on Xing Xiao's bottom line. Chapter 620. At 9:00 in the morning, Xing Xiao received another call from Secretary He in his office in Zhongting. Brother, are you still planning to bring sister-in-law to the banquet? You have to know that your image is related to everyone's image. It's not that I don't like sister-in-law, but it's not suitable for her to appear at the banquet at this moment. Secretary He, when Xing Xiao was about to answer, Mu Qiqi took the phone away from him. Don't worry, Secretary He. I won't go. I know the big picture. Xing Xiao frowned. But Mu Qiqi smiled. Don't let yourself decide everything. You should ask for my opinion first. Xing Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi without saying a word. Mu Qiqi continued, I can't change my background. I can't change the fact that I have two fathers. Although I don't want to admit it, the world is full of gossip. Xiao Xiao, it's not bad to be more mature. Even if I go up tonight, I won't have the confidence because I'll always be under the protection of your wings. I don't have the confidence to argue with others, so, can you just give me a break? Xing Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi for a long time. Suddenly, he put his arm around her neck and pulled her closer to him. Do you know what you're saying? Of course, I know, Mu Qiqi replied. Don't let me go to such a banquet with a guilty conscience. I'll feel uncomfortable. When I'm sure that I have the ability to appear with you, not to mention one Yi Jingqing, even 10 Yi Jingqing won't be able to stop me. Little one, don't say such discouraging words. The interview hasn't started yet. How can you be so sure that you don't have the confidence? In my heart, you've always been many times better than those rich young ladies who only know how to put on airs. Why do you have so little confidence in yourself? Because I don't want you to disappoint your teammates who are on the same side with you because of me. So, you're saying that you don't believe that I can handle your image well. They had been together for more than 2 years, and in those 2 years, they had never had a disagreement over such an issue. Of course, Xing Xiao had to admit that his little one had always listened to his arrangements and trusted him wholeheartedly. You know that's not what I mean. I just want to protect you. We've been together for so long, and we even wear wedding rings, but I've never done anything for you. Xing Xiao said nothing, but he could feel that the little one's wings were getting stronger. He had already begun to have his own ideas, and he was determined to stick to them. President, the interview is about to begin. Outside the door, the secretary didn't know that the two were arguing, so she knocked on the door to remind him. Xing Xiao withdrew his gaze and answered in a low voice, I understand. I'll go do the interview first. Mu Qiqi turned around, but after a few steps, she turned back and hugged Xing Xiao tightly. Don't look so pitiful, okay? My heart will ache. Xing Xiao sneered. I just want to strip you naked and spank your ass. Wait for my interview. Having said that, Mu Qiqi walked out of Xing Xiao's office and followed behind the secretary. What could Xing Xiao do? Of course, he followed her out. The interview was held in the VIP room of Zhongting, and it was in the form of a live broadcast. There were live broadcast platforms everywhere now, so that the information could directly satisfy the psychological needs of the audience. Mu Qiqi simply touched up her makeup and sat down in front of the camera. The person interviewing her was Fong Lan, the columnist of the best news media in the country. She was very easygoing, and it was obvious that she was very cultured. Miss Mu, you can start now. Just make an okay gesture. It's a live broadcast today, so you don't have to be nervous. Just answer the questions truthfully. Muchichi nodded and made an okay gesture. Fong quickly got into the mood, faced the camera and said her opening remarks. This is Real Person Chronicle. Welcome to our live interview. I'm Fong. Since yesterday, there's a person. She's not a media figure, but she's at the top of the hot search list. She's not an entertainment star either, but she's a hot topic. Today, we're interviewing the person involved in this matter, Miss Muchichi. Muchichi looked at the camera and greeted the audience. Then, the questions we're going to ask today are relatively sharp. If you encounter any questions that you don't want to answer, you can just say it. Muchichi nodded. First of all, we want to know. Is the body found yesterday morning your sister? No, Muchichi replied immediately. It's confirmed that it's not. I'm sorry, but it's not convenient for me to reveal the details. I understand. After all, it's related to the case. Then, let's talk about the story of you and your sister. I believe you've seen the topics outside, haven't you? Muchichi thought about it and nodded again. Yes, it's hard not to see. What do you think about the topic of you enjoying life while your sister is suffering? I don't really see it. I just don't understand. Did the netizens lose their memories? First of all, my sister killed my grandmother and framed me for it. She stole my college entrance examination results and indirectly killed our mother. Why shouldn't she suffer? Should she still be enjoying life? Muchichi answered naturally. Then, I want to ask a sharper question. What do you think about the fact that you and your sister have two fathers? Muchichi looked at the reporter. She really knew how to ask the most explosive questions. To be honest, I've thought about running away because I know that this matter might bring ridicule and hurt to the people around me. But, it's not something I can choose. What can I think about it? In this world, the last thing a person can choose is their family background. I've told myself that I have a good family, a husband who loves me, and friends who support me. My life is very complete, so I don't need to care about these malicious mockery. However, when it's said out in the open, I can't just ignore it. But what did I do wrong? Are you afraid? Fong asked again seriously. Afraid? Muchichi was stunned for a few seconds. Then, she said, the body is not my sister's, but the news has spread to every household. It's as if I've become a murderer overnight. Are you asking me if I'm afraid? I'm not afraid. Why should I be afraid? If I'm afraid, won't the person who wants to destroy me get what he wants? Chapter 621. Miss Mu, do you mean that this is a trap? Fong asked, catching on to the main point in her words. Miss Fong, think about it carefully. My sister's body was found disguised as my sister's body in her house. Then, they bypassed the police station at the scene of the crime and reported it to the crime squad that I'm in. Then, an overwhelming amount of scandals came one after another. Doesn't this seem like a meticulous plan? I'm guessing that if I were to be interviewed by a live broadcast, the conclusion that I'm suffering from persecutory delusions would come out soon. Fong thought about it carefully and smiled. Speaking of which, it seems to make some sense. Isn't everyone concerned about who disguised my sister with a corpse? Isn't everyone concerned about the case itself? What happened between me and my sister is old news. What's so fresh about it? Most importantly, the person behind this must hide well and not let me find out. You're committing a crime, and the law will let you know how to behave. That seemed to be the case. Who was the one who disguised Mu Tongxue? Who was the one who died? And who was the mastermind behind all this? That was the question that the spectators should be paying attention to. I'm ashamed. I'm just a forensic assistant now, but I've been fortunate enough to be involved in many cases. Our job is to comfort the dead, or in other words, to provide clues for the culprit. I've learned a lot in the police station and seen a lot of dark and negative things. I thought that my job would at least earn me a little respect from others, so as to eliminate the negative influence of my background. But I realized that the netizens like to watch a drama. It has nothing to do with a person's identity or profession, and they don't care what you've done behind the scenes. Are you disappointed? Fong Lan asked in return. A little. I still hope that there's more sunlight out there. Then do you regret choosing to be a forensic doctor? In the last case, an old couple in their 60s lost their only son. What's important is that their child was a hard-working young man who lost his precious life because of a very daily conflict. When we saw the old couple, it was very sad. At that time, it was the only thing we could do for them when we thought of our own identities and gave them an explanation. I don't regret my choice, but I also hope that the outside world won't deny me because of something I can't choose. That would make me very sad. Fong Lan was very sure that Muchichi's words were meant to divert the audience's attention. In fact, the effect was not bad. Because the questions she threw out were very interesting. Her last sentence was obviously putting the conscience of the netizens who were watching the show on the grill. He even attacked someone who was trying his best to seek justice for the dead. Did he even have a heart? It reminded them of the time when Muchichi was investigating the murder case of Gu Xialing's uncle's ex-wife. She had braved the terrible weather to investigate the crime scene. How did a 20-year-old girl who was running around in order to become a forensic doctor end up provoking a mob on the internet? If Muchichi was an ignorant and incompetent rich second generation, it would be fine. But now that she said that, I really can't bear it. How much courage does it take for a girl to become a forensic doctor? She was trying to seek justice for the dead while the netizens stabbed her in the back. I really hope that when those people commit crimes in the future, they will encounter Muchichi's autopsy. Different voices began to appear on the internet. The people in the police station were also watching Muchichi's interview live. After listening to Muchichi's words, Feng Shanshan could not help but say to the professor, Captain Tang, we'll be very busy from now on. The chief will definitely give him a deadline to solve the case. Then, Tang Yan led the team back to the police station. We've found the source of the body. On Muchichi's side, the interview was still going on. However, the topic had shifted to why she did not walk the path of a socialite but resolutely chose to become a forensic doctor. Of course, this was also part of the reason why the public's attention was diverted. Because many people misunderstood you because they did not understand you. More importantly, when Muchichi was being interviewed, if there were a lot of hate posts appearing on the internet, her IP address would definitely be exposed. Coincidentally, there was indeed a group of people who were like disgusting maggots, hiding in the dark and doing disgusting things. However, this group of people was soon targeted by the police station. Since someone deliberately disguised Mu Tongshua's body and hired the Internet Water Army to smear Muchichi's name, it meant that there was a close relationship between the two. If they could find this group of haters, they might be able to find the person who stole the body. At the end of Muchichi's interview, the public's opinion had changed. If someone dared to smear the people's forensic doctor again, he would not be a human but a piece of trash. After Yi Jingqing saw Muchichi's interview, he smashed his computer. What selfless forensic doctor? She was just a B*TCH who poisoned her sister. However, when he wanted to contact the Black Gang, the police had already located them. At the same time, an unfamiliar number was dialed in his phone. Yi Jingqing looked at the blinking number and had a hunch. So, he quickly picked up the call. Brother Jingqing, save me. When Yi Jingqing heard the voice, He immediately stood up from the sofa. Tang Xue. Is that Tang Xue? Xing Xiao's people are chasing me. Come and save me. I'm so scared. When he heard Mu Tangshue's voice, Yi Jingqing completely lost himself. He was in a mess. How could he still care about Mu Qiqi now? He only wanted to find Mu Tangxue now. But he did not know that Xing Xiao had asked someone to imitate Mu Tangshue's voice to make the call. He deliberately made Yi Jingqing panic. Now, the game was in Xing Xiao's hands. Save Mu Tangxue. Slowly. There was no need to rush. As for Mu Qiqi, Feng Shanshan had speculated that it would be difficult for Mu Qiqi to clear up the hatred the public had for her. After all, many people were prejudiced by their first impression. However, after watching the whole live broadcast, Feng Shanshan had to admit that Xing Xiao's public relations team was really good, or Mu Qiqi was just pretending to be weak. Her speech about believing in the police and forensic doctors was really full of positive energy. It taught the netizens how to behave. All in all, now everyone felt that slandering an upright forensic doctor like Mu Qiqi was no different from a murderer. Xing Xiao did not control Mu Qiqi's speech from the beginning to the end. He let her do whatever she wanted because he knew that this little one was up to no good. And the fact proved that he was right. Why couldn't she attend the state banquet tonight after her brainwashing speech? Chapter 622. Yi Jingqing, on the other hand, was very anxious after he received Mu Tangshue's call. He did not know where to find Mu Tangxue, and he did not know if Mu Tangxue would call him again. Or perhaps, he was afraid that Mu Tangxue would be caught by Xing Xiao. Of course, since this was a good show arranged by Xing Xiao, Mu Tangxue would certainly call him again. But he was not in the mood to talk to Mu Qiqi anymore. He did not care if Mu Qiqi had cleared up the rumors or not. After half an hour of the interview, Mu Qiqi was completely different before and after the interview. When she got off the interview, she felt relieved. No matter what the result was, she had done her best. Xing Xiao hooked his finger at her from behind the staff. Mu Qiqi ran over and hugged Xing Xiao's waist naturally. Was my performance just now okay? Show her the comments on the internet. Xing Xiao turned and ordered his secretary. The secretary nodded with a smile and passed the phone to her. Madam, it was a success. I have racked my brains to direct the public's attention to my identity as a forensic doctor. But I have to work harder in the future to be worthy of my profession. Mu Qiqi returned the phone to the secretary. What about Yi Jingqing? Is there anything else he can do? He has no time to deal with you now. Xing Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi. They walked out of the VIP room and returned to Xing Xiao's office. What do you mean? Mu Tangxue called him. He is thinking about how to get news about Mu Tangxue now. Xing Xiao sneered. Mu Qiqi thought that her man would not let Yi Jingqing find Mu Tangshue's whereabouts so easily. There must be something fishy about it. Aren't you curious? Did Mu Tangxue really appear? She must be fake. Mu Qiqi patted her chest confidently. I know my man very well. He will not let Yi Jingqing get away with it so easily. I have found him a top-notch dubber. Xing Xiao's voice was cold and dangerous. It will take at least a year and a half to find her from my hands. Mu Qiqi laughed when she heard that. You're the best. After lunch with me, go home and try on some clothes while waiting for me. I want to see what kind of negative consequences will occur if I bring you to the state banquet. Mu Qiqi looked at him and knew that he was not joking. So, she nodded. Even so, I still have to show my attitude. If I'm not suitable to appear in the state banquet, I won't go. You're just trying to undermine me. Xing Xiao did not say anything else. He only scolded her affectionately. Mu Chichi laughed, but soon received a call from Feng Shanshan. The source of the corpse has been found. The people who framed you are also at the police station. Aren't you coming back at such an exciting moment? Mu Chichi glanced at him and asked for his permission. I know the state banquet starts at 7. I'll be home before 3. Is my opinion important? Of course it's important. Mu Chichi smiled coquettishly. You still listen to me? Xing Xiao obviously did not believe her. The little one had hardened her wings and became arrogant. I must listen. You said it yourself. 3:00. Xing Xiao finally relented. Although the little one had clarified the matter in the interview and brainwashed the netizens, the matter still needed to be dealt with. Mu Chichi hugged Xing Xiao's waist again reluctantly and rubbed against his chest. Don't be afraid that I'll grow up. Even if I grow up, you'll always be the first, understand? Having said that, Mu Chichi waved the wedding ring on her finger. Xing Xiao did not stop her. Of course, he knew in his heart that the little one was no longer the Mu Chichi of the past. However, it would be very inconvenient for her to wear a diamond ring as a forensic doctor. Thinking of that, Xing Xiao made a mental note to make a special necklace for the little one. After Mu Chichi left Zhongting, she went straight to the police station. At the moment, Tang Yan was interrogating the group of professional haters. What's the situation now? The stolen corpse is also from the slums. It's a woman who was the mistress of Big Brother. Her name is Song Qiao. She was dug up just a few days after she was buried. Poor thing. Feng Shanshan answered Mu Chichi's question. The person who stole the corpse hasn't been found yet. It's not easy to find any clues. As for those haters, they still refuse to admit that they took the money. They only said that they hated you, so they were so agitated. It seems like they would rather be detained for 7 days. Tang Yan has already arranged for someone to check if there's any big income in their bank accounts recently. Someone deliberately set this up. Of course, they've thought about it carefully. Besides, we all know the punishment for stealing a corpse. For those people in the slums, a few months in jail in exchange for a change in their lives. Of course, they're willing to do it, Mu Chichi said hatefully. It seems like someone is going against me. Is there any news from your CEO? How could there be no news? When Mu Chichi was about to answer, her phone rang. Mu Chichi looked at the phone number and picked it up. I'm Mu Chichi. Chichi, let's meet. Yi Jingqing sounded a little complicated on the other end of the phone. How is it? Are you willing to meet me? Thinking of this, Mu Chichi was too lazy to think about how Yi Jingqing got her number. She said, you don't have to go anywhere. I'll go to Yi Mansion to look for you. Then I'll wait for you. Are you crazy? Are you going to meet Yi Jingqing alone? Mu Chichi looked at Feng Shanshan and couldn't help but laugh. Who said I'm alone? Don't I still have you and Captain Tang? Feng Shanshan said, why do you think I'll go? Because you're worried about me. Mu Chichi exposed her. When Captain Tang's interrogation is over, I'll go and tell him. Feng Shanshan didn't say anything. As for whether Tang Yan was willing or not, it would depend on his answer. However, Feng Shanshan didn't expect that Tang Yan would agree immediately. When are we leaving? It won't take up much of Captain Tang's time. We'll leave now, said Mu Chichi. Feng Shanshan didn't know what Tang Yan was thinking, but she seemed to be able to guess what was going on in his mind. He was definitely not just accompanying Mu Chichi to meet someone. And why did Mu Chichi need Tang Yan? It was not only because of his skills, but also because of his meticulous mind. In this regard, because of his profession, Mu Chichi felt that his mind was completely on par with Xing Zhao's. He might be able to get a lot of useful information. Chapter 623. The three of them did not speak along the way. Tang Yan drove them straight to Yi Mansion. When the butler saw them, he immediately said to Mu Chi-Chi, "Miss Chi-Chi, young master is waiting for you in the living room." This butler had been in Yi Mansion for many years. Mu Chi-Chi had seen him many times. But just like how she saw Yi Jingqing, Mu Chi-Chi did not have a good impression of him. Mu Chi-Chi brought Tang Yan and Feng Shanshan through the iron gate of Yi Mansion. Although she was familiar with this place, she would rather not know anyone from the Yi family. The three of them entered the living room. At this time, Yi Jingqing was pacing back and forth anxiously. When he saw Mu Chi-Chi, he seemed to see hope. He went forward and grabbed Mu Chi-Chi's arm. "Chi-Chi, you are Tang Xue's sister. Can't you let her go? You wanted to see me just to say this." Mu Chi-Chi asked Yi Jingqing. Yi Jingqing regained his senses and saw Tang Yan and Feng Shanshan behind Mu Chi-Chi. "You even brought Captain Tang here. Do you mind if I look around at home?" Tang Yan took the opportunity to ask Yi Jingqing. "Captain Tang, do as you wish." Then, he dragged Mu Chi-Chi to his swimming pool and sat on the reclining chair beside the pool. "Are you afraid that I will hurt you? Even if you don't want to hurt me, you have already made a big fuss." "Of course, I will guard against you," said Mu Chi-Chi. It was in this swimming pool, in this position, that he and Mu Tangxue had pressed her under the water and did not treat her as a human being. And today, it was in this swimming pool again. "Chi-Chi, tell me where Tangxue is. As long as you tell me the news, I swear that I will never go against you or frame you again." Yi Jingqing raised his hand and promised. "Not only that, I will clarify everything. As long as you tell me where Tangxue is." "Do you think I need your clarification?" Mu Chi-Chi curled her lips coldly and said, "You should keep your scheme for yourself. Anyway, I will find evidence one day." "Chi-Chi, why are you so stubborn?" Yi Jingqing was anxious. "Look, you are Tangshua's sister. How can you control your sister's freedom forever? Don't you think so? Do you still remember this swimming pool?" Mu Chi-Chi asked Yi Jingqing. "I'm talking to you about Tangxue now. Do you still remember when you pressed me into this pool to teach Tangxue to swim?" Mu Chi-Chi pointed at the swimming pool and asked Yi Jingqing, "I'm telling you about Mu Tangxue too." Yi Jingqing looked at the pond and then at Mu Chi-Chi. He couldn't control his emotions. "Tell me where Tangxue is first." "Why should I tell you? Who do you think you are?" Mu Chi-Chi shouted, "Let me tell you, Yi Jingqing. We will settle old scores and new scores. Why are you so vicious that you have to hide your sister?" Mu asked. "Tang Xian to Tang Tangxue not. Shao not. Mu Tangxue not." Yi Jingqing quickly stood up, but Mu Chi-Chi pushed him into the pool. Then, Mu Chi-Chi squatted beside the pool and said, "You want to know where Mu Tangxue is? In your next life. You can hurt me all you want. But Yi Jingqing, let me tell you. The more you do this, the more I won't let you see Mu Tangxue. Kill me if you dare. Of course, you will never see Mu Tangxue again. I'll take this as revenge for you pressing me into the water when we were young. However, I still remember how you hired people to slander me. I'll let you taste the price you have to pay for hurting me. Since you know I'm vicious, don't provoke me to do something more vicious. Otherwise, Mu Tangxue will suffer 100 times more for me. Do you think you can still do whatever you want to me like before?" Mu Chi-Chi looked at Yi Jingqing in the water. Her eyes were sharp and firm. The person in front of her was no longer the little girl who was always bullied. "Try touching a single hair of mine again." Yi Jingqing was shivering in the water. But somehow, He forgot how to speak under Mu Chi-Chi's threat. Then, the butler came to the pool and said to Yi Jingqing, "Young master, I'll pull you up. You wanted to see me, so I'm here. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. After all, I have to attend the state banquet tonight. This is a height that your little lover, Mu Tongxue, can never reach in her life." Yi Jingqing walked toward the pool slowly. Then, with the butler's help, he returned to the shore. "Young master, I'll get you a towel. Mu Chi-Chi, if Tongxue is hurt, you will never live a peaceful day in this life." "That depends on your ability," Mu Chi-Chi said meaningfully and turned around. Tang Yan and Feng Shanshan were behind her. "Are you done talking?" "Yes," Mu Chi-Chi answered as she walked. "It's almost 3:00. I have to go home to prepare for the state banquet tonight. After all, I can't disappoint them." "Oh, Captain Tang, I suddenly remembered something. When I came to Yi Mansion when I was young, I saw an interesting scene. But let's talk about it when we get back to the police station. What are you keeping us in suspense again?" Feng Shanshan asked her softly. "When I was young, I accidentally overheard Papa Mu and Uncle Ye's conversation. I think Yi Holdings might be involved in tax evasion. Are you making it up to take revenge on Yi Jingqing?" "I just remembered it. Let's report it and see if we can find anything." Mu Chi-Chi sounded very serious. "Moreover, I seriously suspect that Yi Jingqing is crazy. He's really stubborn about your sister. He's completely unreasonable." Feng Shanshan sighed. "If you really offend such a person, you'll be in big trouble. You can't get rid of him even if you want to." "Then I won't get rid of him," said Mu Chi-Chi. "I want him to know that even if he tries to stop me, I'll live 100 times better than Mu Tongxue." "What if he threatens your safety?" Mu Chi-Chi suddenly remembered what Yi Jingqing said. Mu Tongxue was so kind. Now, I really hope that I can find Mu Tongxue and destroy Yi Jingqing's fantasy. What Yi Jingqing liked was Mu Tongxue's innocent look. In his heart, she was like a porcelain doll that would break with a touch. So, he tried his best to protect Mu Tongxue. He thought that Mu Chi-Chi was vicious and threatened Mu Tongxue's safety. However, he was completely wrong. Yi Jingqing couldn't forget their childhood together. But he had never lived with Mu Tongxue. Mu Chi-Chi was sure that if Yi Jingqing got what he wanted, he would know how blind he was in the past. Chapter 624. Yi Jingqing changed his clothes and walked out of the bedroom. Then, he received a call from Mu Tongxue. "Jingqing, can you come and save me? I'm trapped in the mountains. I don't dare to run around now. Jingqing, come and save me. Tongxue, I'll call the police now. Tell me where you are. Tell me now." The signal on Mu Tongxue's side was intermittent, but she insisted on telling him an address. Although Yi Jingqing had never heard of that place, he quickly took his coat and went out when he knew that Mu Tongxue was trapped there. He wanted to call the police. If Xing Zhao's men were really looking for Mu Tongxue, he must bring the police there as soon as possible. But he did not know that it was an eye for an eye from Xing Zhao. Since he wanted to use someone who was not from Jianchuan to deal with Xiao Qi, Xing Zhao would certainly play along with him. Let's look for her in the mountains. It was going to be a stormy night anyway. At 3:00 in the afternoon, Mu Chi-Chi arrived home on time. By then, the dress she had chosen had already been fitted according to her measurements. Mu Chi-Chi washed away her tiredness and stood in front of the dressing mirror to try on the dress. It was a strapless A-line high-waisted dress. The combination of beige and dark green made her look like a noble lady from medieval France. Especially when it was worn by Mu Chi-Chi, it accentuated her good complexion and liveliness. "All right, madam. Chief Xing will come and pick you up at 6 o'clock. The stylist had even styled her hair into a bun. Her hair was loose and fluffy, making her look even more lively. Thank you for your hard work. Mu Chi almost fell asleep. It had been a long time since she attended a formal event with Xing Xiao, except when she accompanied him to the cocktail party. So, Mu Chi was a little nervous when she attended the state banquet this time. After all, the people she was going to meet were not businessmen. They were all big shots who often appeared in the news. At the police station, Feng Shanshan had just sent off the group of haters. It was New Year's Eve after all. Everyone wanted to go home to celebrate the new year. Seeing that the sky was getting dark and there were no other cases, Feng Shanshan looked at Tang Yan. She wanted to tell him that they should go home early so that they could spend New Year's Eve around the fireplace. But the bachelor and the police station invited Tang Yan to have a drink together. Captain Tang, now that the body has been returned and properly buried, Mu Chi is going to the state banquet. Can we also have a good New Year's Eve? After all, a group of bachelors would be lonely when they go home. You guys go ahead. I still have to keep an eye on the safety of the district, Tang Yan refused directly. No way. Captain Tang, how are you going to find a girlfriend like this? You don't even relax during the new year. It seems like you don't want to drink, but want to look after the safety of the district with me. When the group of men heard Tang Yan's threat, they immediately changed into their casual clothes. Then we'll go home. Junior sister Shanshan, do you want to join us? A senior brother deliberately winked at Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan crossed her arms and shook her head. I'll pass. I have something to do tonight. Tisk, so boring. They left the police station in a hurry. At this time, Tang Yan looked down at Feng Shanshan and asked, "What's the matter? Can't I have something to do?" Feng Shanshan snorted coldly. I thought you would spend the new year with me. If there's no report, we'll go home. Who wants to go home with you? Feng Shanshan said proudly. But in fact, both of them knew that they were alone. How could anything happen to them? Feng Shanshan's only friend now was Mu Chi. If Mu Chi went to the state banquet, who else could she look for? Tang Yan knew that Feng Shanshan did not mean what she said, so he did not say much. He just looked at the rain outside the door and hoped that everything would be fine tonight. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Yi Jingqing finally found the location Mu Tangxue gave him with the police. It took them 4 hours to get to the top of the mountain. However, there was not even a shadow, let alone a person. Yi Jingqing was a rich man's son. He had never been so embarrassed before. It was all thanks to Xing Xiao. Yi Jingqing couldn't find her, so he called Mu Tangxue. He saved the number, but the voice message told him that the number was turned off. In other words, he couldn't provide any more information to the police about the search. The police prepared to go down the mountain. After all, there was no sign of anyone on the mountain. They could not continue wasting time here. Yi Jingqing's report was just a one-sided story. You can't go. We haven't found the person yet. Chairman Yi, please don't waste our police resources. No one has ever come up here before. Even a man can't survive up there, let alone a woman. There are wild and ferocious beasts in there. It's the new year, please don't mess with us. Believe me, CEO Yi, I'm really sorry. We have to go down the mountain. The rain is so heavy. I have to think about everyone's safety, said the leading police officer. Yi Jingqing's face darkened. Yi Jingqing's face darkened. He did not believe that there was no one up there. But, where was Mu Tangxue? She had sent him the address and said that she was here. She would not lie to him. Could she have been taken away by Xing Xiao? Thinking of this possibility, Yi Jingqing immediately called Xing Xiao. But Xing Xiao's phone was switched off. After all, Xing Xiao had already left Banyan Courtyard with Mu Qiqi and was about to reach the venue of the state banquet. The people attending the state banquet were all big shots. Mu Qiqi was very nervous. After all, she was scolded badly yesterday. Wouldn't she be laughed at if she attended such a grand banquet today? Xing Xiao might have noticed her nervousness, so he held her little fist and said, "I thought you were not afraid of anything. It turns out that you have something to worry about." "I'm afraid that I will embarrass you," said Mu Qiqi. Xing Xiao pinched her palm and looked at the ring between her fingers. He smiled. "You just need to stay by my side. Leave the rest to me." Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and tried hard to calm herself down. When they arrived at the entrance of the state banquet hall, she finally knew how big the event was. The guests walked up the red carpet one after another. Xing Xiao helped Mu Qiqi down from the black Rolls-Royce. Because of the handsome man and beautiful woman, they received a lot of attention. However, the big ring between their fingers announced to the world that they had completed the big thing in their lives. They were a couple now. Chapter 625. But just as they took out their invitations and were about to enter the banquet hall, Secretary He stopped Xing Xiao in the corridor. "Excuse me." Xing Xiao did not let go of Mu Qiqi's hand, although he could guess Secretary He's intention. "I didn't expect that you would really bring little sister-in-law here, Secretary He. You know that I only have one little thing. I keep holding her in my palm and doting on her. I don't have any other request, I just want to keep her by my side." Xing Xiao looked at Secretary He seriously. "I can compromise on other things, but I want to be stubborn to the end when it comes to Qi. Secretary He looked at Xing Xiao, and then at Mu Qiqi. In the end, he nodded his head. "All right, I've also seen little sister-in-law's interview. It's not that I have anything against her or anything else. You have to know that your marriage has not been recognized and protected by the country's laws. Little sister-in-law's identity must be awkward at such an event. Moreover, your looks would decide it. There would be many ladies who would send you signals of interest, and I'm afraid little sister-in-law would be hurt if she's here. Don't worry. I'll keep an eye on her." Secretary He could not do anything about Xing Xiao, and could only do his best to help him. After all, they had known each other for half a year, and he knew what Xing Xiao valued the most. Mu Qiqi held Xing Xiao's arm without a word. She knew that what Secretary He said was the truth, and it was hard to avoid it. But since she was Xing Xiao's woman, she would never back down in such a situation. "Let's go in." Xing Xiao led Mu Qiqi into the main hall of the state banquet. Inside the hall were all powerful and influential people. They were either philanthropists or military officers with outstanding achievements. With her current status, being able to enter such a place and witness such a grand occasion was really the most extraordinary experience in her life. Everyone had the entire process of the state banquet in their hands. An hour for the award ceremony, an hour for the performance, and finally the banquet. And the president's attendance would undoubtedly be the climax of the event. Mu Qiqi's nervousness was swept away, and there was a hint of anticipation in her heart. Attending such a banquet will give people a sense of honor and responsibility. Mu Qiqi murmured. Then, she tilted her head to look at Xing Xiao's side profile. Under the soft light, his handsome face looked even more dignified. Especially today, he was wearing a dark green suit. His fashion sense and nobility made him stand out among the crowd, making people unable to take their eyes off him. It was precisely because he was eye-catching that he attracted the attention of countless women at the scene. It was just that he already had Mu Qiqi by his side. This naturally aroused the jealousy of other women. Isn't that the female lead who's been on the news for the past 2 days? The one who poisoned my sister. That's her. This young lady is a regular on the news headlines. Maybe she has a rebellious personality. With such a background, he dares to appear in such an occasion. Does he really not know his place? The sound of ridicule lingered in his ears. Still, Muchichi pretended not to hear anything and did not let Xing Xiao notice the scheming thoughts between the women. Both of them followed the flow from the banquet hall to the award hall, where the elites of different social classes would be given their awards. Xing Xiao was one of them. But did she think that Xing Xiao did not hear it? He could not speak for his little one now. But there would be a great opportunity later. Soon, both of them sat on the chairs below the stage. But the granddaughter of one of the generals was sitting next to Xing Xiao. She showed an admiring look when she saw Xing Xiao sitting beside her. But Xing Xiao simply switched seats with Muchichi. You sit here. Before Muchichi could understand what was going on, Xing Xiao had already placed her on the seat and put his hand on the back of her seat, declaring that he had taken possession of her. The beauty beside Muchichi immediately showed a provocative look and looked at Muchichi. I know you. Hello. Muchichi was polite. You're the woman who killed my sister in the news. Muchichi knew that she was doing it on purpose when she heard that. She smiled. It seems that you're not well informed enough. I've already clarified the matter this morning. So what? You're just a medical examiner. No, I should say that you're not even a medical examiner. Perhaps I'm worthless in this lady's eyes, but I'm worth $1,000 in my husband's eyes. Am I right, Xiao? Muchichi turned around with a smile, retorting as she asked Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao held Muchichi's head and stroked it. His meaning was clear. She did not have to bother with irrelevant people, and there was no need to explain deliberately. The beauty was furious at that. It was not easy to see a man with a bright future and outstanding looks, but he was going to lose to an inconspicuous girl. It was really unsettling. But because of her identity, she would not continue to trouble Muchichi. Muchichi leaned against Xing Xiao's arm, enjoying his protection. In my eyes, everything you've done has created enough value for this world. Not everyone can be compared to you. Muchichi could not help but smile at that. I also firmly believe that everything I do is not inferior to others. Silly thing. The girl beside Muchichi showed a look of extreme disdain as she listened to their conversation. Muchichi was a country bumpkin. Why do you have to be so sacred? I've already had dinner with the president many times. Isn't it because of your father or grandfather? Muchichi asked in return. The girl was left speechless. Then what have you done that's valuable? I can learn from you. Although Muchichi did not like such occasions, she would get used to it. After all, she did not think that she was shameful, nor did she think that she was inferior. Xing Xiao reminded Muchichi when he saw that the girl was speechless. Be careful. Don't bully a weakling. I'm going to the washroom. Muchichi nodded. When she saw Xing Xiao getting up, she gave the girl on her right a look of thanks. Isn't it just a money grubber? What's so great about that? After hearing that, Muchichi did not plan to reply. But at that moment, the woman sitting on the girl's right could not help but say to her, Your grandfather has been my grandfather's subordinate for so many years. I haven't even said anything. What are you so proud of? The girl blushed. Sisterling, I didn't see you sitting beside me. It's clearly an admirable thing for a little girl to be a forensic doctor. Why is it so vulgar when it comes from your mouth? Are you still so narrow-minded after so many years? Sit behind me. I get annoyed when I see you. Chapter 626. Then, the girl went to the back seat. It was then that the woman who helped Muchichi just now responded with a smile and sat beside her. Logically speaking, your grandfather is the chief of the military and your uncle is the mayor of Jianchuan. Your background is no less than that thing just now. Why don't you come out and help yourself? It's not like I'm being troubled. Muchichi replied. I'm just not used to this kind of occasion. After all, everyone here is either rich or noble. I don't want to cause trouble for my family. My name is Li Ai. I'm a few years older than you. You can call me Sister Ai. Hello, Sister Ai. The one who troubled you just now is the daughter of the Qin family. Her name is Qin Qiao. You should pay more attention to her. She's the only daughter among the 10 or so boys in the family. That's why she's so spoiled. Muchichi nodded gratefully. However, she did not look at Qin Qiao. To her, as long as it was someone she met tonight, she would not have much interaction with in the future. Therefore, she did not have to deliberately remember them. After a while, Xing Xiao returned to Muchichi's side. He frowned when he saw that the woman had moved to the back seat. But he still sat down quietly. What happened? Nothing. Muchichi tilted her head. The awards ceremony is about to begin. On the stage not far away, the well-known MC spoke wittily, making the atmosphere relaxed and cheerful. Soon, the awards ceremony began. The top 10 influential people of the year, the top 10 outstanding contributors, and the top 10 outstanding youths. It was a national honor. Muchichi watched with her own eyes as the outstanding people took the stage. She finally understood what it was like to have a family and a country in their hearts. Finally, the top 10 outstanding youths were awarded. Xing Xiao's name was ranked last because there were the most descriptions about him. Zhongting was born in just a year. But this outstanding talent is invincible in the business world. He transitioned from the diamond and jewelry industry to the military industry. What you don't know is that last year, Zhongting developed as many as 65 new technologies related to military supplies. Among them, 60 have passed the national certification and will be widely used in the military in the future. Not only that, this 28-year-old CEO has also dabbled in the development of many novel fields. He has even begun to research new weapons and has achieved preliminary results. We have reason to believe that Zhongting's future represents strength and confidence. The confidence of our country and ourselves. Muchichi tilted her head to look at Xing Xiao. She looked at her man. She really did not expect that he had done so many things in just a year that she did not know about. Mesmerized. Xing Xiao turned to look at Muchichi as well. He knew the look in her eyes. It was the same look she had when she was infatuated with him. Hurry up and get on the stage. The host is calling your name. Muchichi quickly reminded him. Xing Xiao reached out and hugged her. Then, he got up and walked to the podium from his seat. He was one of the few people who had ability, talent, temperament, and good looks. It would not be an exaggeration to describe him as handsome and unruffled. On the other hand, Xing Xiao had been cynical and dangerous a year ago. Chief Xing, please come to the front. The host gestured for him to come. And please, let's welcome the presenter. None of the presenters here were simple nobodies. For example, the one who presented the award to Xing Xiao was the second in command of the military. The audience below the podium knew very well that someone of such status could be sent to present the award to Xing Xiao. It was clear that his contributions were worthy of respect. Chief Xing, please speak on behalf of the outstanding youth. As the applause rang out, Xing Xiao held the trophy and stood in front of the microphone. It's been almost a year. The entire team of Zhongting and I have done a lot of research and experiments. Now, Enchanting finally has infinite possibilities. As the host said just now, I've done 65 studies. 60 of them have passed the test and will soon be put to use in the military. But you definitely don't know why I've put so much effort into trying to change the working environment of soldiers. Not only soldiers, but people in other industries as well. Halfway through, Xing Xiao suddenly looked at Mu Chi and pointed a finger at her. Because of my little wife. Ever since she became a forensic doctor, she had to deal with all kinds of corpses every day. There's always an unbearable smell on her. That's why I thought if there's any way to stop her from being troubled by that problem. And because of my understanding of her, I started thinking about various industries, and it's also because of those thoughts that I've put in a lot of research. My wife's existence makes me feel the weight of my responsibility. I also hope that my ability can really be used by society. After hearing that, the host couldn't help asking, Chief Xing, did you tell your little wife about the research you've done? Xing Xiao shook his head. She goes to school during the day and interns at the police station at night. Sometimes, she's called out for field work in the middle of the night. I can see that you seem to support her career. At the mention of Mu Chi, the audience below the podium could clearly feel Xing Xiao's face softening. She's not just young. She's petite too. But she has a soul. To me, she's my equal. Xing Xiao answered seriously. A person's true value is to contribute to society. Seeing her little body working hard every day to find the murderer, I, as her husband, would certainly be more disciplined than her. Then it seems that Mrs. Xing has contributed a lot to Enchanting's greatness. Mu Chi looked at Xing Xiao from among the crowd. Xing Xiao was also among the crowd, looking at Mu Chi. The couple's eyes were shining like stars. It was fine if others did not understand. As long as they understood each other, they would have the whole world. Then, Xing Xiao walked down the podium step by step and returned to Mu Chi's side. Mu Chi looked at him, her heart softening. You never told me about this. I thought I was just a mischievous burden to you. You never see how much influence you have on me. Didn't I tell you before? You don't have to do anything when you stay by my side. I know how to absorb nutrients from you. Chapter 627. It's my way of loving you. Mu Chi looked down at their entwined fingers and could not help tearing up. I will become a better and more respectable person for you. Naturally, Xing Xiao's words drew the attention of many in the crowd. Although there were more discussions about Mu Chi and Mu Tongxue in the beginning, the guests had reason to believe that the woman who could change a man from being feared to being respected by all was not too bad. That was why the guests had more praise for Mu Chi after the award ceremony. They called her a winner in life. She had such a successful husband, such a perfect love and such an interesting soul. Even the guests began to use Mu Chi as a role model in front of their children. They were even much friendlier when they struck up a conversation with Mu Chi. That was why Xing Xiao had said those words on the podium. She already had everything, but she still wanted to be a student and a forensic assistant at the same time. That was a resounding slap to the uneducated rich second generations. Soon, the couple entered the hall where they could enjoy the performances. Since it was a state banquet, the program was a little boring, and the couple spent the entire hour chatting. Then, it was time for the main event. The state banquet. As the guests entered the banquet hall one after another, he walked up to Xing Xiao and clapped him on the shoulder. You scared me so much that I broke out in a cold sweat. But after thinking about it, the main reason is that I did not trust you enough. I thought that young people are impatient, and you are such a hot-blooded man. Still, I think I can rest easy after seeing your performance tonight. You've matured quite a lot, brother. How else would Secretary he entrust me with such an important task? Xing Xiao chuckled. You're now someone the second in command of the army has taken a liking to. He was just praising you, and soon, you won't need me anymore. Secretary he smiled mysteriously. Still, I know you're a loyal kid, which is why I'm not afraid of you tearing me down. Come, let's find a seat and talk while we eat. The president is here. Did you guys see him? Mu Chi-Chi looked into the crowd and saw the person she usually only saw on TV. Now, he was under heavy protection. She was also someone who had met the president. Then, Mu Chi-Chi was about to sit down when Li Ai called her from behind. Mu Chi-Chi. Mu Chi-Chi turned to look at Li Ai, her face clearly puzzled. Li Ai pointed at a certain part of her body in embarrassment, meaning that her relative must have come to ask Mu Chi-Chi if she had that thing on such an important occasion. Mu Chi-Chi shook her head. This was not the time for her relatives, but she still grabbed hold of a passing waiter and asked him to think of a solution. This could be considered as repaying Lin Wan for helping her out just now. But just as she turned around to sit next to Xing Xiao, she was suddenly tripped by a passerby. Mu Chi-Chi lost her balance and fell to the side. Fortunately, Xing Xiao caught her in time. Mu Chi-Chi blushed as she leaned into her man's arms. What? Do you want to embarrass yourself at the state banquet? Mu Chi-Chi shook her head. That's what I'm most afraid of, so I was very reserved the whole night. What are you afraid of? You fell down, but didn't I catch you? At most, we will embarrass ourselves together. When Mu Chi-Chi focused her gaze, she realized that Xing Xiao was holding her hand, while the guests around them were all staring at them with smiles on their faces. Hurry up and sit back down. Brother, if Mu Chi-Chi is not young, you would really be laughed at. Secretary he laughed. But you can't stop little sister-in-law from being young and energetic. It seems that most people can understand you now. I've told you. That's the only treasure I have. Xing Xiao watched as Mu Chi-Chi said that, before resuming his conversation with Secretary He. Just then, Qin Xiao brought her grandfather to Xing Xiao and Mu Chi-Chi's table. From their expressions, it seemed that they did not come with good intentions. Shameless brat. You still have a long way to go. How dare you be so arrogant now? With that, Grandpa Xing deliberately arranged for Qin Xiao to sit next to Mu Chi-Chi. You sit here. I want to see who dares to bully you. Qin Xiao gave Mu Chi-Chi a smug look. But Mu Chi-Chi did not care about her at all. Xing Xiao and Secretary He did not even bother to look at them. Before the state banquet began, the president gave a speech and wished everyone a happy new year. Then, the sound of fireworks was heard outside the banquet hall. This new year had indeed passed with extraordinary significance. 40 minutes later, the banquet was coming to an end. Because they still had to go home for a reunion, the guests began to leave their seats one after another. At this time, the old man of the Qin family walked in front of his granddaughter and said, Jiao Jiao, Grandpa has already helped you vent your anger. Just now when your Grandpa Lin was talking about those outstanding youths, I directly told him that those people are nothing more than snakes and rats. They are being praised. Don't be angry anymore. Follow Grandpa home. Qin Xiao snorted. Mu Chi-Chi knew that the old man was talking to her, but she ignored him. I'm just not used to seeing her. Jiao Jiao, you are a noble person. How can you compare yourself with others? Be a good girl and go home. To Mu Chi-Chi, he was just an old man who spoiled his granddaughter. So, she did not respond to his sarcasm. She pretended not to hear it. Mu Chi-Chi, are you deaf? With those words, Mu Chi-Chi turned around. But Xing Xiao grabbed her shoulder. Wipe your mouth. Let's go home. All right. The legendary CEO that no one dares to mess with is just a so-so in my opinion. Chen Xiao continued to cause trouble for them. Old Chen, you are unreasonable. She is not the descendant of a hot-blooded soldier. Xing Xiao did not even look at Chen Xiao. He said to Grandpa Chen, "It's fine if you spoil her at home. But you should know that you can't protect her forever. The more enemies you allow her to make, the more swords she will get stabbed in the future. If you don't teach her well, someone will teach her for you in the future. Old Chen, you have been a soldier all your life. You should understand this, right? I brought my wife here today. I did not provoke Miss Chen. I even tolerated her many times. If you are too aggressive, I don't mind teaching your descendant a lesson for you. After all, I am still young, am I not?" Chapter 628. What an arrogant brat. What an arrogant tone. Grandpa Chen snorted. But my granddaughter is born to be pampered. She is not someone that a bunch of merchants like you could compare to. Miss Chen's pampering is only in the eyes of the Chen family. Outsiders might not spoil her as well. After saying that, Xing Xiao prepared to leave with Mu Qiqi. But Qin Qiao took the opportunity to grab Mu Qiqi's arm. "Don't get too full of yourself. We will meet again soon." Mu Qiqi pushed her away when she saw Qin Qiao pestering her. "My time is spent with my family and autopsies. Miss Chen, not everyone is as free as you. Just wait and see." With that, Qin Qiao walked in front of Grandpa Chen in a huff. When Grandpa Chen saw that his granddaughter had left, he quickly chased after her dotingly. Mu Qiqi shook her head when she saw that. "I hope I won't meet such a pampered lady again." Xing Zhao's lips curled into a smile. Then, he patted the back of Mu Qiqi's hand. "Let's go home. Since there's nothing else, I'm going home too. Your sister-in-law is rushing me." "Secretary," he said to them when Grandpa Chen left. Mu Qiqi smiled and waved at Secretary He, but she could not move her feet. "Xiao Xiao, wait. We will leave after the other guests have left." Xing Xiao frowned. "What is it?" "My heels seem to be broken. She almost tripped just now because the heels were too heavy." Xing Xiao crouched down and found that Mu Qiqi's silver heels could no longer walk. So, he bent down and carried Mu Qiqi horizontally. "Put me down." Mu Qiqi struggled when she saw that there were people around them. "I've already picked you up. You might as well stay put." Xing Xiao ignored her resistance and walked out of the banquet hall with her in his arms. "There are so many people watching. You were so shameless before. But now, you are so thin-skinned." Mu Qiqi lowered her head and buried it in Xing Zhao's arms. Then, an attendant draped a black coat over Xing Xiao, and he carried Mu Qiqi into his black limousine. In the VIP lounge on the second floor of the state banquet, the president saw the young couple leaving and thought it was a little interesting. He said to the secretary beside him, "This is a pair of loving young people." "Yes, but they are not husband and wife yet. Miss Mu is still too young, so they can't register yet." "Are you also complaining that the marriage law stipulates that the age is too high?" "I didn't say anything." The secretary quickly shut up. Although, this was what he thought in his heart. When the bell rang for the new year, Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi were on their way home. Mu Qiqi lay on Xing Zhao's lap, watching the fireworks bloom in the sky. "So beautiful, such an atmosphere is perfect for champagne and kisses." Xing Xiao stared at Mu Qiqi's little head, his long right hand resting on her shoulder. Mu Qiqi turned her head to look at Xing Xiao. She threw away her shoes, propped herself up, and looked at the man. "Do you want a kiss? I'll give it to you now." Xing Xiao did not move at first, pretending to be calm. But when Mu Chichi really got close, he directly hooked his arm around the little one's neck, ready to teach her a good lesson in the car. In front, the driver could not see the situation at the back because he was separated. So, the two people in the car were even more unscrupulous. It was the most beautiful fireworks to be watched with the most important person. Amidst the sounds of the fireworks, there were ambiguous moans. On the other side, Tang Yan and a few police officers on duty were on duty until midnight. When Feng Shanshan and the others were tired, they directly lay down in the autopsy room. When Tang Yan went in and saw her, he could not help but hold her in his arms. It was so cold in here. Was he not afraid of catching a cold? Feng Shanshan was a light sleeper. When she felt her body being moved, she opened her sleepy eyes and looked at Tang Yan. Seeing that it was someone she trusted, she closed her eyes again and fell asleep in Tang Yan's arms. There are fireworks outside. Do you want to join us? After that, we'll go home. Feng Shanshan did not move for a long time. Tang Yan thought that she had fallen asleep again. But a minute later, Feng Shanshan tried her best to open her eyes. Let's go. When they reached the courtyard, Feng Shanshan woke up. This was because this thing was something that her parents had touched before their divorce. How many years had it been? In her heart, she had always felt that fireworks were something that only people with a whole family were qualified to set off. So Shanshan hasn't gone back yet. Come and set off fireworks with your senior brothers. Feng Shanshan laughed and ran over. Tang Yan looked at Feng Shanshan from afar. He did not join in, but when he saw Feng Shanshan smile, he felt a trace of warmth in his heart. Perhaps this winter was not as cold as before, or perhaps it was because he had a lover. Captain Tang, you come too, the people in the team called out. Tang Yan shook his head and refused decisively. You guys go ahead. Junior Shanshan, hey, do you not have a lover? That's why you're still here in the middle of the night with us bachelors. I do, Feng Shanshan replied naturally. My partner happens to be a workaholic. He doesn't have time to accompany me during the new year, so I was forced to stay here and set off such boring fireworks with you guys. That's too unromantic, isn't it? How could he have such a cute girlfriend like you? That's right, girlfriend. Alright, it's about time. I'll send her back. You guys pack up and go home for the new year. When Tang Yan heard those 3 words, he could not bear the throbbing in his heart, so he gave Feng Shanshan a look. Captain Tang, Happy New Year. After the two of them waved at Tang Yan with a smile, Tang Yan left with Feng Shanshan. However, when she saw Tang Yan driving, Feng Shanshan reminded him subconsciously, we're not in a hurry to go home. You don't have to drive so fast, you're not in a hurry, but I'm in a hurry. After saying that, Tang Yan continued to speed up and return to the house in the shortest time possible. However, the house was a mess because of Feng Shanshan's knocking. There was no way to go in now. My key is at your house, Feng Shanshan asked helplessly. Where's your key? Regardless of the key, Tang Yan drove the off-road vehicle into the courtyard. Then, he adjusted his seat and pulled Feng Shanshan onto his lap. Do you want it? Feng Shanshan felt that looking at this man in the dark seemed to be more attractive. So, how could she resist the temptation of this man? Yes. Chapter 629. As soon as she finished speaking, Tang Yan's kiss was like a shower. In the car, under the fireworks, the two of them hurriedly took off each other's clothes and joined together in the most primitive way. At this moment, Feng Shanshan felt that whether it was her body or her heart, she was most satisfied at this moment. There's no condom in the car. Tang Yan did not say anything. He took out a small box from the storage box in the car. Who would believe that the brave and upright Officer Tang has such a dangerous side to him? This is a gift from the underwear I bought last time. It's been 2 years, and it hasn't been opened, Tang Yan explained, his breathing unstable. Then, it hasn't expired yet. Tang Yan's eyes emitted extreme danger. So, he did not give Feng Shanshan a chance to continue talking. He just deeply occupied her and then brought her into the storm. After everything calmed down, the two of them were sweating. Tang Yan picked up his coat and put it on Feng Shanshan's bare back. Only then did he gradually relax. You're really strange. You're under my control and you sleep with me, but you never talk about feelings. You just follow whatever I say. Is this considered advancing by retreating? Being with me for a long time won't end well, Tang Yan said seriously. My personality is unstable. I don't have the concept of family in my bones, and I rarely have time to accompany my partner. So, I never take the initiative to talk about feelings with women. After listening to this, Feng Shanshan could understand everything about this man. I'm a little cold. Let's go home. Tang Yan could not promise anyone or be stable. He was such a man. He would not change himself for anyone. He was a man of iron bones. But the thing that Feng Shanshan was most attracted to about him, other than his body, was his ego. Because of this, many thoughts suddenly flashed through Feng Shanshan's mind. The scariest thing was none other than one. She actually wanted to maintain this kind of relationship with Tang Yan for a long time. She could even be his girlfriend. Because that way, she could prove to him that she was different from his previous girlfriend. Not everyone could not stand loneliness. Not everyone could not keep their loyalty. Then, Tang Yan carried Feng Shanshan into her house. Everything in her house was simple. The only thing that wasn't simple was the 2-meter-wide bed. After the shower, the two of them lay on the bed. There was no study room or other space for Tang Yan to escape. This was the first time the two of them were lying together in a sober state. I'll be your woman until we can't stand each other anymore. Then we'll separate. Feng Shanshan hugged Tang Yan from behind and said, Go and do your thing. I won't stop you, nor will I interfere with you or complain about you. I only have one request. No matter where you go, let me know in advance. Don't disappear for no reason. I'll be satisfied. Similarly, you don't have to worry about what I want to do. I can't guarantee anything. The only thing I can guarantee is that when I'm with you, I won't pester other men. Tang Yan listened quietly and did not speak for a long time. This made Feng Shanshan feel uncertain. How is it? Do you agree, or not? Tang Yan did not answer directly. Instead, he grabbed Feng Shanshan's hand as a silent nod. Then, let's make a deal. From the first day of the new year, we're a couple. Silly. In fact, Tang Yan thought to himself. From the moment she asked him to care about him, he had already made up his mind. The only good thing about the two of them being together was, Feng Shanshan was a forensic doctor, and he was a police officer. So, they did not need to not see each other for 3 to 5 days, and Feng Shanshan could understand his work. Even so, I still hope that you can keep our relationship a secret. I don't want it to be too embarrassing when we break up in the future. Although Tang Yan did not think that they would break up, he still agreed to Feng Shanshan's request. What if he sacrificed himself one day? That night, all the houses were lit up. Everyone was reunited, including the Liu family. Lin Mu and also took a break and returned to the Liu family to spend a warm new year with Liu Qianqian. But on the eve of dawn, Liu Qianqian found that the man who was supposed to be sleeping beside her was standing by the bed, deep in thought. She thought about it and felt that Lin Mu and might still be missing everything about the Lin family. Do you want me to go back with you to take a look? Hearing Lu Qianqian's voice, Lin Mu and turned around and was a little apologetic. Did I wake you up? I can't sleep well without you by my side. Lu Qianqian got up and hugged Lin Mu and from behind. Although I know that your grandfather will not accept me, I really don't want you to have any regrets in the depths of my heart. Why don't I go back with you tomorrow and secretly take a look? Lin Mu and held Lu Qianqian's hands and shook his head. Wait until I have some achievements. Then, I can stand tall. Lu Qianqian sighed. She felt that the grandfather and granddaughter were really too stubborn. In fact, they had wasted a lot of time to accompany and understand each other. Could it be that she had not shown enough kindness? During this period of time, whenever the Lin family needed help, she would secretly lend them a hand. Even when old Master Lin was hospitalized or other matters, she would bear all of them. Perhaps, her fawning actions were still beneath old Master Lin's notice. So, she could only be patient and continue waiting. Going to the police academy is really too slow. I really want to enter the society directly, then make a career and marry you. Even a capable person like the great CEO can only be a real husband and wife when Muchichi is of age, right? So, we are not in a hurry. Lin Mu and sighed and smiled. I am in a hurry. Their heads gradually leaned against each other. It was a warm night for the two of them. It seemed that the only person who did not have a good time tonight was Yi Jingqing. After the police retreated, he continued to look for Mu Tongxue on the mountain. But, he did not even bump into a wild animal, let alone a human. In the second half of the night, he fainted on the mountain. In the end, he had to rely on the police to save him. He almost froze to death on the mountain. This made Mr. and Mrs. Ye's heart ache. This child was too infatuated. Father, why don't we tell Jingqing that we know where Mu Tongxue is hiding? Then, he won't have to continue looking for her. Look at how much effort he has put in to find her. But, are you willing to let Mu Tongxue become your daughter-in-law? Papa Yi asked. Mama Yi shook her head. I was afraid that the child would become like this. So, I planned to get rid of Mu Tongxue before he came back. But, I didn't expect him to be so stubborn. Mu Tongxue doesn't have him in her heart. Chapter 630. The next morning, Yi Jingqing woke up from his bed at home. But because of his high fever, he was in a daze. Tongxue. No. I must look for Tongxue. What are you looking for? You've been set up. Do you know that? Tongxue is not on the mountain at all. Mama Yi sat by his bed and looked at her son. Her heart ached for him. Your father has already said that you are no match for Xingxiao. But you didn't listen to him. If the police didn't search the mountain last night, would you have been killed by them? Did you consider how your father and I feel? Mother. Yi Jingqing looked at Mama Yi apologetically. I'm sorry for you and father, but I just can't let her go. Mama Yi sighed and admitted defeat in the end. I know where Tongxue is. Yi Jingqing's eyes widened. You know. We thought that if we kept Tongxue's whereabouts a secret, you would slowly forget about it. We didn't expect that you would be so stubborn that you almost lost your life. After saying that, Mama Yi picked up her phone and dialed a number. When he heard the hello, Yi Jingqing felt that he was like a lonely boat that had finally reached the shore. Tongxue. It's me, Auntie. Are you free now? Come and see Jingqing. He's not well. I'll take a taxi now, said Mu Tongxue. Mama Yi had hidden her away. She had left the slums and lived a normal life. Now, she had transferred to another medical school. But in the medical school, she fell in love with a doctor there and was now actively pursuing him. When Yi Jingqing heard that it was really Mu Tongxue, he got up excitedly and wanted to change his clothes. He didn't want to look so miserable. Not only that, he took the phone on the bedside table and called Xing Xiao. I admit that you are ruthless, but I'm sorry, Chief Xing. I found Tongxue. I'll make sure to return the gift you gave me last night tenfold. Similarly, now that Tongxue is back, I'm afraid Mu Qiqi's life will not be easy anymore. Xing Xiao smiled when he heard the phone call. How do you want Qiqi, to live? Do you think you've planned everything? Then why didn't you keep an eye on Tongxue? My happiness is about to begin. I will make Tongxue 100 times better than Mu Qiqi. As for that little forensic doctor of yours, she can stand aside. Such senseless threats did not trigger any sense of danger in Xing Xiao. Perhaps Yi Jingqing's brain was damaged last night on the mountain. Mu Qiqi watched as Xing Xiao answered the phone by the window. She propped herself up and asked, "Who is it?" So early. Yi Jingqing said that he found Mu Tongxue. He really found it. It's definitely not on the mountain. I'll get Su Che to check immediately. Xing Xiao pinched Mu Qiqi's nose. He even threatened me, saying that if Mu Tongxue came back, he would train her into someone 100 times better than you. Is that so? Mu Tongxue can join the entertainment industry, but I'm not interested. She's good at acting, but her brain isn't good enough. Mu Qiqi said confidently. Was Mu Tongxue still a threat to her? Not for a long time. Xing Xiao was very satisfied with Mu Qiqi's confidence. He carried her and got up. Hurry up and pack up. We're going to the Shin family for New Year's greetings. What about the Xing family? Mu Qiqi raised an eyebrow. We'll talk about it when the old man summons us. Mu Qiqi knew that her man was just being stubborn. Yesterday afternoon, I asked Mommy to prepare some gifts for New Year's greetings. We'll go to the hospital and Secretary He's house to visit sister-in-law. Xing Xiao did not say anything. He let Mu Qiqi do whatever she wanted. She was becoming more and more like the wife of a CEO. She already knew how to consider the ways of the world. Half an hour later, Mu Tongxue took a taxi to Yi Mansion, which she had not seen for a long time. But now, she was wearing ordinary clothes. She no longer looked like a spoiled young lady. She had completely turned into an ordinary person. Not only that, but her appearance was getting more and more different from Mu Qiqi. When Yi Jingqing saw her, he did not dare to recognize her. In the past, Mu Tongxue was as cute as a porcelain doll. She was the little princess in the hands of the Mu family. But now, Tongxue, brother Jingqing. Mu Tongxue sat beside Yi Jingqing's bed and called him. I heard from Auntie that you're not in good health. You need to be more careful. Tongxue. Yi Jingqing was so excited that he hugged Mu Tongxue in his arms. But Mu Tongxue pushed him away. Brother Jingqing, you're hurting me. Yi Jingqing let go of her subconsciously and finally showed a smile that he had not seen for a long time. Tongxue, you're finally back by my side. I'll bring you to Yi Mansion. We'll be the same as before. Mu Tongxue's expression was a little strange. She turned to look at Mommy Yi. When she saw Mommy Yi looking at her, she said, Brother Jingqing, my life is good now. I don't plan to change my current lifestyle. So, I'm sorry. I don't want to come to Yi Mansion. When Yi Jingqing heard that, he quickly grabbed Mu Tongxue's arm and asked, Did Xing Xiao threaten you? Did Mu Qiqi? It has nothing to do with them. I have someone I like. I want to be by his side, Mu Tongxue said bluntly. Besides, I'm working part-time now. My life is not a problem at all. You don't have to worry about me. I'm really not worth it. Nonsense. Why are you not worth it? Yi Jingqing couldn't accept it. He looked at Mommy Yi. Mom, did you force Tangxue to say that? Well, this has nothing to do with Auntie. Then, Mu Tangxue took out the photo of the doctor. He is my teacher. I really like him and want to be with him. Brother Jingqing, let bygones be bygones. I'm fine now. I don't want to be disturbed by anyone anymore. Have a good rest today. I'll come to see you when I'm free. Tangxue, don't go. Yi Jingqing grabbed Mu Tangshue's arm. I like you so much. How can you abandon me and fall in love with someone else? Brother Jingqing, I've only treated you as a brother since the beginning. I never had that intention. I hope you take care. Having said that, Mu Tangxue turned around and left Yi Mansion without looking back. She left Yi Jingqing's side. Mom, did you arrange it? If you don't believe me, you can find out for yourself, Mommy Yi said coldly. Son, I don't have to force Tangxue. Yi Jingqing lay on the bed. At that moment, he felt as if he had lost his favorite toy. Chapter 631. Why did Mu Qiqi say that it would be a good thing if Yi Jingqing really found Mu Tangxue? Because his liking was almost sick. Which woman would want to be with such a sick person? Moreover, Mu Tangxue was a scheming person, and Yi Jingqing thought that she was a pure and innocent princess. If Yi Jingqing saw Mu Tangshue's dark side, his psychological defense would definitely collapse. Sure enough, they had just reunited. After that, Su Che went to investigate Mu Tangshue's whereabouts. It only took him one morning to find out where Mu Tangxue was staying and her school. It should be the Yi family who hid her. It's my first time seeing her. She looks so similar to Madame. But when I look closely, they are very different. So, is there anything important? Xing Xiao looked at the information and asked. She is crazily chasing after a teacher in her school. It seems that she likes him very much. The whole school knows about it. Su Che showed the photo to Xing Xiao. Then, this is going to be a good show. Xing Xiao chuckled. His words were meaningful. That morning, Tang Yan and Feng Shanshan did not go to the police station because Tang Yan had applied for leave. However, before they slept until noon, Tang Yan received a call from the chief. There was a murder case at Hongwen University and it had been transferred to the criminal investigation team. Seeing Tang Yan getting up, Feng Shanshan asked him, "Didn't you say that you are not going to work? There is a case. Go back to sleep. Can't you let me have some peace during the new year?" No matter what, Feng Shanshan still got up with Tang Yan. "You go first. I will be there later." Tang Yan nodded. He got dressed and went out after washing up. He did not go to the police station. Instead, he went to the crime scene at Hongwen University. Captain Tang, the victim, is a second-year student at Hongwen University. Her name is Tang Yixiao. She is from the same family as you. She was hacked to death and the forensic doctor is doing an autopsy. It's a horrible scene. It's really not peaceful during the new year. Isn't the school on holiday? There are many students staying in school. One of the team members explained to Tang Yan. The body was found by the cleaning lady. According to her memory, the last time the washroom was cleaned was yesterday morning. No one found out during this period of time. Because it's the holidays, very few people go to that school building. His colleague continued to explain, "Oh right, there's a Hongwen medical school behind it." Tang Yan nodded and went to the scene. Seeing the victim lying miserably on the bathroom floor, he sighed and asked the forensic doctor, "Is there any result?" "Captain Tang, you might have to call the professor. I'm new here. I'm not very experienced." The young forensic doctor's mind went blank when he saw Tang Yen. However, Tang Yen knew that his uncle had gone abroad to see his daughter. He was not here at all. So, he turned around and started calling the other forensic doctors in the police force. Mu Chi-Chi received it too. She just didn't expect it to be so scary during the new year. When Xing Xiao saw how concerned she was about the case, he knew that her heart must have flown over. He said, "I'll pick you up at the hospital at 5 in the afternoon. At 7 in the evening, we'll go to the He family's house." Mu Chi-Chi hugged his arm and rubbed it. "I knew you understand me. Let Su Che send you there. There's no need. Didn't you just say that the murder happened at Hongwen University?" "Su Che is going there too," Xing Xiao said as he pinched her nose. Mu Chi-Chi frowned. She didn't understand until Xing Xiao explained, the school that Mu Tangxue is studying at now is a branch of Hongwen University. Mu Chi-Chi knew that her man was investigating Mu Tangxue's case, so she nodded. "I got it." No matter what Xing Xiao's motive was, it was all for her. Mu Chi-Chi didn't think much about it. She got into Su Che's car and went to Hongwen University. At this time, Feng Shanshan also arrived at the scene. "Isn't there a forensic doctor here?" Mu Chi-Chi looked at the forensic doctor in the white coat and said, "And where are the professor and the other seniors?" "The professor went abroad and it's the holidays now. The other forensic doctors can't leave for the time being." Feng Shanshan explained for Tang Yen. "As for this one, he's newer than us. He just registered and hasn't worked for a day. You two are just forensic assistants. Don't you know your manners?" The new forensic doctor said to Feng Shanshan. Obviously, he was not happy with her arrogant attitude. Mu Chi-Chi didn't respond to Feng Shanshan's teasing. She walked to the new forensic doctor and said, "Senior, did you encounter any trouble?" The new forensic doctor glanced at the corpse and turned around. It seemed that he was still not used to it. Mu Chi-Chi glanced at him and pushed him away. Then, she and Feng Shanshan squatted on the ground and put on rubber gloves. Then, they started the preliminary autopsy. The deceased is a male, between 20 to 25 years old. Wait, isn't this a female? The police couldn't help but doubt Mu Chi-Chi's words. The corpse was slender and fair. He was wearing a woman's clothes and had long hair. No matter how they looked at it, he didn't look like a man. Mu Chi-Chi showed her Adam's apple to everyone. "Do women look like this?" The police were instantly speechless. It should be a transvestite or gender dysphoria. As she said that, Mu Chi-Chi continued the autopsy. Other than the slash wounds, there are no other obvious injuries on the body. There are a total of 24 slash wounds. The most fatal one should be on the neck. The main artery was cut, which led to excessive blood loss. According to the livor mortis, the time of death was around 4 to 5 in the morning. This man smoked, and he was a heavy smoker, Feng Shanshan added. He also liked to put on makeup. I just don't know if the people around him know that he's actually a man. Are you sure it's because of excessive blood loss? We still need to do a poison test to rule it out, Mu Chi-Chi said. So, we have to wait until we get back to the station for a detailed report. If Captain Tang thinks that we need a more professional forensic doctor to do the examination, we can contact our teacher or go to another station to find someone. No need. I trust you, Tang Yen said. After saying that, he glanced at the new forensic doctor. When the new forensic doctor saw that, he could only turn his head away awkwardly. He couldn't even compare to two sophomores. Forensic Dr. Chin, don't take it to heart. These two are the professor's proud disciples. They have been through many battles. The police tried to comfort him. Then, are they still in charge of the autopsy? Of course, it's your job, senior. Mu Chichi smiled. Feng Shanshan couldn't help but look at Mu Chichi. It seemed that she wanted to teach the new forensic doctor a lesson. By the way, is Hongwen's medical school behind this? Mu Chichi asked the other seniors in the team. Yes, that's Hongwen's medical school. Why are you asking? Mu Chichi pointed at her face and answered Feng Shanshan, that person is inside. Chapter 632. I know what you are thinking. But I'm sorry. I don't want it to go as you wish. Feng Shanshan made a disdainful gesture and turned to Tang Yan. Let's go back to the police station first. Call us if you need anything. Tang Yan did not look at her but nodded. When the two of them walked away, he said to the new forensic doctor, I want to see the toxicology report tonight. The new forensic doctor did not know how much of a workaholic Tang Yan was. He just nodded blindly. Feng Shanshan and Mu Chichi looked at each other and smiled. They were afraid that the new forensic doctor would have to suffer a little in the police station. Several people carried the body out of the school building. Because of the murder, the whole building was now completely cordoned off. However, there were still a lot of students watching. Mu Chichi looked at them and understood that she had to solve the case as soon as possible. Otherwise, the students would not feel at ease staying in the school because of the panic. However, some people did not come to see the case. They came to see Mu Chichi. So that's Mu Chichi. She is really Mu Feifei's sister. They look the same. But they are different when you look closely. Why are you comparing? Mu Chichi is also a second-year student, but now she has appeared at the scene of a murder to do an autopsy. Although the two of them look very similar, Mu Chichi is Xing Zhao's woman after all. The confidence and arrogance she has is different. We have seen a celebrity, haven't we? Feng Shanshan heard many students looking at Mu Chichi along the way. She nudged Mu Chichi with her elbow. You are so cool now. Mu Chichi looked at her disdainfully and looked at the crowd. Then, she saw Mu Tongxue in the crowd. They had not seen each other for more than a year. Time was a good thing. It could make people forget a lot of things. Then, Feng Shanshan also noticed the girl in the crowd. Wasn't this the scene she was looking forward to? Mu Chichi glanced at Feng Shanshan. Then, she took off her white gloves and threw them to Feng Shanshan. Then, she walked toward Mu Tongxue. It was only then that the students around them noticed that Mu Tongxue was there to watch the commotion. She must have heard about the incident, and hence came to watch. It's strange that you didn't hide when you saw me. Mu Chichi said to Mu Tongxue. What happened to you yesterday caused a huge uproar and made me the focus of online violence. But now you're willing to show up. That's not what I did. Of course, I won't break my current life for you. Mu Tongxue said calmly. I'm not that kind to stand up for you. If you don't come out, will no one in your nursing school know about this? You don't need to know that. Since Mama Yi wanted to hide it from Yi Jingqing, she would, of course, communicate with the school. She would pretend that Mu Tongxue did not exist in this world. Moreover, when she first entered the school, she had changed Mu Feifei's name. So, before the incident broke out, almost no one paid attention to her. Everyone only knew that she was a quiet student who liked her teacher. Then what are you doing now? I know. Once the Yi family finds me, it means that the Crown Prince will find me soon. I don't want to be your enemy now, so I'm here to show my stance. I know that as long as I'm not a threat to you, the crown prince won't do anything to me, Mu Tongxue said honestly. You don't have the time to do anything to me, do you? Yi Jingqing has caused me a lot of trouble because of you. He's the one who caused you to fake your death. You should know this, right? Mu Tongxue, you're still as selfish as before. Sister, I have nothing now. I can only rely on myself. You really don't have to destroy me. Look at the gap between us. I just want to be an ordinary person now. Please let me go. Did I say anything? Mu Qiqi snorted. If you want to live under the sun, don't do those dirty things. This is my last advice to you. After that, Mu Qiqi turned to Feng Shanshan and said, let's go. That's it. You were forced into a corner 2 days ago. I thought you would slap the main character when you saw her. But she didn't do it. What's wrong with me slapping her? Do you want to be in the headlines and accuse me of abusing my sister? Besides, I've already settled the score. Now, we're just strangers who don't owe each other anything. After that, Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan got into the police car. But before they left, Mu Qiqi purposely glanced at Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue's heart was still impure. But because she had someone she liked and was rejected by the person she liked, she started to reflect on her life. At least, she really didn't want to be against Mu Qiqi anymore. Because she knew that the gap between her and Mu Qiqi was getting bigger and bigger. It was a gap that was hard to cross. And she also knew that she should take over Yi Jingqing's problem. Because she knew Yi Jingqing, she was afraid that if she revealed her feelings for teacher, she would be investigated or even controlled by this man. But she was not afraid. After Mu Qiqi returned to the police station, she looked at the time. I'm leaving at 5 in the afternoon. Can you stay here and accompany Senior? Go ahead. I'll stay here until midnight without you. Feng Shanshan shook her head helplessly. Waiting for your family. Mu Qiqi raised an eyebrow. Don't say it out loud if you know. It's boring. Mu Qiqi chuckled and did not lecture Feng Shanshan. There was still some time left. She wanted to see if this new senior brother had learned his anatomy skills well. The two of them wanted to help, but the new forensic doctor felt that he was embarrassed at the scene just now, so he rejected Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan's help. You two can stand aside. I'll do it myself. Okay. You can do it yourself. Mu Qiqi nodded. But when the two of them moved away from the corpse, Mu Qiqi saw something that looked like a rash on the left side of the corpse's arm. So, when the senior was about to cut the corpse, Mu Qiqi stopped him. Don't move first. What do you want? The new forensic doctor was a little impatient. Why don't you do it? If you don't want to be infected by HIV, you better not move first. Mu Qiqi looked at the new forensic doctor and said, I suggest you do a blood test first. What nonsense are you talking about? See for yourself. Mu Qiqi pried open the corpse's arm and showed him the rash. Although we can't rule out the possibility of eczema or other skin diseases, people infected with HIV will also have this kind of rash in the early stages. And HIV can still reproduce and infect people within 10 hours of death. If you don't believe me, you can do a blood test yourself. Chapter 633. After hearing that, the new forensic doctor put down the scalpel in his hand subconsciously. Senior brother, although you don't acknowledge us, I think you should listen to Mu Qiqi's suggestion and do a blood test first. I know. After all, it was related to him. So, the new forensic doctor immediately collected the blood sample of the deceased for a blood test. Mu Qiqi gestured to Feng Shanshan. This forensic doctor might be a little incompetent. She didn't know who put him in, so she asked her to keep an eye on him. Otherwise, if they missed the test, it would affect Tang Yan's judgment. Don't worry, just go. The two of them had been working in the laboratory for a long time. Why would they be afraid that they couldn't control the new forensic doctor? Su Che came to pick them up and Mu Chi-Chi got into the car. But she didn't expect her man to be in the car too. Xing Xiao reached out his hand, but Mu Chi-Chi stopped him. I stayed in the bathroom for a long time today. I don't like the smell. Is there any smell on your body that I haven't smelled before? Xing Xiao snorted. I saw Mu Tangxue at Hongwen University today. She begged me to let her go. Mu Chi-Chi took off her coat and jumped into Xing Xiao's arms. She stared at his chin and asked, "What do you think? Didn't you want to watch the drama between her and Yi Jingqing? You didn't even watch the drama." "Of course, I won't do anything," said Xing Xiao. "Am I that free in your eyes?" "Ha! Of course, I can let Mu Tangxue go. But Yi Jingqing. He must lose his reputation and beg for mercy. Only then could Yi Jingqing repay the pain that Xiao Qi had suffered in the past. In order to achieve this goal, he would not hesitate to add fuel to the fire from behind. After changing her clothes at home, Mu Chi-Chi accompanied Xing Xiao to the hospital because Grandpa Xing was still in the hospital. At this time, Xing Bowen and Hu Ran were there too. When they saw them, their eyes widened. "Xing Xiao," Grandpa Xing looked at Xing Xiao and snorted. It was the first day of the new year. However, he understood that Xing Xiao was at the state banquet last night, so he didn't act coy. "The doctor said that you can be discharged after resting for a week." "I still need you to inform me," said the old man awkwardly. "Unhappy. Then I'm leaving. Come back." Grandpa Xing sighed. "Yesterday, I was worried that the girl would embarrass herself at the state banquet. I didn't expect her to be so eloquent. She taught those people outside a lesson. I've seen it for myself. There's really nothing for me to worry about the people you teach." The people in the ward couldn't help but laugh when they heard that, especially Xing Bowen. "I've already said that this isn't something you should worry about. I'm just scared. Are you afraid that I'll drag Xiao Xiao down?" Mu Chi-Chi continued, "Yes, compared to Xiao Xiao, I'm just a pile of cow dung. But since he's already a flower, there's nothing I can do. You have to accept your fate. Besides, are you the only one who cares about your grandson? I will also feel sorry for my husband." "Are you married?" "That's what I call my husband." "Yes." Mu Chi-Chi raised the ring on her finger and said, "It's registered abroad. We're officially husband and wife." After hearing what she said, old Xing laughed. How impudent. The family argued in the ward, but their hearts were warm. They were used to opposing each other. They didn't know how to get along with each other, so they could only be awkward. "Since Xiongting has developed to this point, I can't ask you to return to Huangyao. I guess you won't like it. But I'm still worried about third brother. Grandpa, do you have no confidence in me?" Grandpa Xing looked at Xing Bowen seriously. Although he didn't mention Xing Kai these days, everyone knew that he and Gu Xiling were not easy to deal with. Even if they didn't do anything now, it didn't mean they would behave themselves in the future. "It's not that I don't have confidence in you. I'm just afraid that you'll be too soft-hearted and not as ruthless as those wolves, tigers, and leopards." Grandpa Xing propped himself up on the bed and said, "I've been dreaming a few times recently that the Xing family will face a great catastrophe. I'm afraid I won't be able to get through it. It seems that you really don't have confidence in me. Even so, you should believe in eighth brother, right? With his current ability, can't he take care of Huang Yao?" Grandpa Xing didn't say anything. After a long silence, he changed the topic. "You and Xiao Ran should hurry up and have a child. I won't rush eighth brother since he's still young. Xing Bowen and Hu Ran looked at each other but didn't say anything. But Xing Xiao understood their awkwardness. So, when they left, Xing Xiao asked Xing Bowen, "You haven't slept with me yet?" "Maybe it's because of the wrong start. That's why I'm still not feeling it yet," said Xing Bowen. "Pure man," Xing Xiao said and left with Mu Qiqi. They still had to go to the next place, Secretary He's house. On the way, Mu Qiqi heard about it and couldn't help laughing. "Third brother, do you have a problem in that area? It's been so long, but you're still so calm. You don't understand." Xing Xiao glanced at the little one's head and gave her 3 words. "What don't I understand?" "If it's not a relationship that can be exchanged for life, there's no point in sleeping with you," said Xing Xiao. "So, you have a relationship that can be exchanged for life?" Mu Qiqi caught the main point in Xing Xiao's words and asked. "A relationship that can be exchanged for life? Don't you think it's too shallow for you to ask this question?" Xing Xiao asked. Mu Qiqi smiled. "That's true. Anyway, they were fated to be together for life. Why should she be so pretentious? I know even if you don't tell me." Hearing Mu Qiqi's answer, Xing Xiao was satisfied. He began to stroke her hair. The two of them have too little experience. They can't feel each other in their hearts. That's why they treat each other with respect. But when the two of them really discovered their feelings for each other, it would be a little too late. Who could predict it? In the forensics laboratory, the new forensic doctor received the blood test report and found that the deceased, Tang Yixiao, was indeed an HIV carrier. So, he broke out in a cold sweat. Why did Mu Qiqi come to that conclusion? Actually, it was very easy. Because Tang Yixiao was very likely a transvestite and liked to dress up. Why did he have to be so creative? Wasn't it to attract men's attention? Some of his characteristics were very obvious. He liked to attract people. Of course, this was his private life. No one had the right to interfere. However, because he knew that this person had HIV, the new forensic doctor did not dare to cut him. Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes. "I say, senior brother, did you really graduate from forensic science? How dare you work in the criminal investigation team?" "Of course I am. You're just a student. What do you know?" Chapter 634. Feng Shanshan could not be bothered to talk to him. She called the forensic doctor from before and asked him to handle it. Tang Yan had also returned to the police station. Feng Shanshan quickly asked, "Did anyone touch the victim's blood?" "They're all wearing gloves," Tang Yan answered. "I'm here to get the report." "Then you might have to wait until tomorrow." Feng Shanshan shrugged. "What happened?" Tang Yan frowned. He looked so serious that he looked like an old man. Feng Shanshan did not let him enter the autopsy room. Instead, she stopped him outside and said, "Have you checked this forensic doctor's background?" "Mu Qiqi and I suspect that he might not have any real skills. When he left the scene, he said that it was his first time, so it's understandable that he felt uncomfortable. But after he came back, I really don't think he has the ability to stay in the criminal investigation team." Tang Yan listened to her but did not say anything. He just pushed the door of the autopsy room open. "Captain Tang, at your speed, you'll only be able to solve the case next year." Tang Yan was serious in speech and manner, which was scary enough. Coupled with his cold tone, the new forensic doctor felt his legs go weak. "Get lost." "Yes. Yes." Then, Tang Yan put on the isolation suit, a glass mask, and 2 pairs of gloves. Only then did he start the autopsy skillfully. When he cut open the victim's chest, he did not hesitate at all. This made Feng Shanshan's heart skip a beat. But she trusted him. He had been a criminal police officer for so many years. He had probably seen all kinds of situations. Moreover, when there was no forensic doctor, he could also be a good helper. Previously, he only told Feng Shanshan that he had learned clinical medicine. But now, it seemed that it was more than that. After a while, the senior from the forensic team rushed back. Seeing Tang Yan in the middle of the autopsy, he asked Feng Shanshan, "What's going on?" "The victim has AIDS." The new forensic doctor did not dare to do it, so Captain Tang did it for him. "How can you be a forensic doctor if you don't dare to do it?" Then, the senior entered the autopsy room and said to Tang Yan, "Captain Tang, let me do it. It's almost done. The body needs to be cremated and the follow-up disinfection work needs to be done." After saying that, Tang Yan left the autopsy room. However, he did not look at the new forensic doctor at all. He just said as he walked, "Go back to where you came from." The new forensic doctor was dumbfounded. Was the captain of the criminal investigation team so tough? Then, Tang Yan found a place to clean up and take a shower. Feng Shanshan heaved a sigh of relief. She sat on the chair in the bureau and sighed. She was really shocked by that man, but she had to admit that he was handsome. Yi Jingqing sent someone to investigate the man Mu Tongxue liked. He found out that he was just an ordinary teacher. His salary was less than 5,000 a month. He had a small house in Jianchuan and lived a simple life. He barely had any contact with women. But it was such an ordinary man that Mu Tongxue risked exposure to confess her love in public. He was the pride of the heavens, with power and authority. He was Mu Tongxue's childhood sweetheart and had done countless things for her. But in the end, he couldn't even compare to such an ordinary man. No, something must have gone wrong. Yi Jingqing sent someone to kidnap the teacher. He wanted to see what was so special about the man that Mu Tongxue was so infatuated with him. Mu Tongxue knew that Yi Jingqing might do such a thing. After thinking about it, she felt sorry for the person she liked. So, she bravely stood guard in front of his house. When the teacher saw her, he was puzzled. "Mu Tongxue, you are troubling me by standing in front of my house." Mu Tongxue knew that she had gone overboard. So, she apologized seriously. "I'm sorry, Mr. Liu. I've caused a lot of trouble." "I know. You don't have to care about me. Just pretend that I like standing here. As a teacher, how can I blame my student? It's already happened." "I don't blame you." The teacher smiled gently at Mu Tongxue. "You should go back now. It's so cold." "Mr. Liu, Mu Tongxue, I just treat you as my student. I hope you won't overthink it." After hearing the answer, Mu Tongxue's eyes dimmed. However, she did not leave the teacher's house. Instead, she went to another place and hid in the dark. She stayed there until 1 o'clock in the morning. When she saw that the light in the teacher's room had gone off, she turned around and left. She had the courage to stay there for a long time. But at this moment, a black car came roaring and stopped in front of Mr. Liu's house. Mu Tongxue saw that something was wrong, so she immediately walked out and stood in front of the group of people. "What do you want?" The group of people saw Mu Tongxue and knew who she was. They pushed her away. "Miss Mu, I'm sorry. If you dare to go up, I'll die here. Let's see how you are going to explain it to Yi Jingqing." Mu Tongxue took out a dagger from her pocket and put it beside her neck to threaten the 4 people. "If you go up there and try." When the 4 people saw blood oozing out of Mu Tongxue's neck, they were frightened and quickly stepped back. "I have nothing." I only have Mr. Liu. None of you can hurt him. No matter who it is, even if it's Yi Jingqing, I'll die with him. The four people looked at Mu Tongxue for a while. In the end, after asking for Yi Jingqing's permission, they left the teacher's house. Mu Tongxue heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that. She had nothing left. All she had left was ruthlessness. As long as someone dared to hurt Mr. Liu, she would make him die a horrible death. Yi Jingqing did not expect that Mu Tongxue would be so unyielding for this teacher. The jealousy in his heart burned even more fiercely. There was still a long way to go. He would not let go of the man who stole Mu Tongxue. Of course, their every move was under Xing Zhao's control. He would certainly protect such a kind teacher. Only then would Yi Jingqing feel as if thousands of arrows had pierced his heart. The next morning, Mu Qiqi arrived at the police station. Seeing that the body had been taken care of, she asked Feng Shanshan, "Is it AIDS?" "Why are you asking if you already know?" Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes. "The people from the police station have done a lot of investigations on Tang Yixiao. This child is a transvestite. He has a sick mother at home. In order to pay for his studies, Mrs. Tang has to be a nanny for a rich man. Tang Yixiao is really attractive, especially when he likes to look for rich men. So, it's not surprising that he got AIDS. It's just that his motive is a little distressing. To look for his grandmother." Chapter 635. Do you have any clues now? Mu Qiqi asked. He has a lot of friends in that field. In the words of the students, they are promiscuous. There are so many of them in and out of school. There's a doctor in the medical school next door. Tang Yan is going to check on him today. Are you coming? Forensic doctors rarely go to the field. But we are still learning. Of course, we can't miss this opportunity, Mu Qiqi replied. But when she saw the new forensic doctor sitting on the chair in front of the police station, she raised her chin. What's wrong with him? Yesterday, Tang Yan told him to go back to where he came from. He's still conflicted now. You didn't see how he was yesterday. Anyone would be afraid of death, but he's not like him, going straight to his death. Feng Shanshan didn't even notice that her tone sounded like she was trying to protect her family. After all, the new forensic doctor had delayed Tang Yan's work. So, she was unhappy about it. But I might still have to get along with him in the future, Mu Qiqi guessed. Since the new forensic doctor was really useless, he must have been forced into the police station. It meant that he had a powerful background. Could Tang Yan handle it? Stop chatting. Follow him to the field. It's a good chance for you to learn. The senior from the forensic team patted their shoulders. When you become forensic doctors, you won't have the chance to go to the field anymore. There are no restrictions on your identity now. The two of them quickly followed Tang Yan. This time, they sat in Tang Yan's off-road vehicle. After they got into the car, Tang Yan passed his coat to Feng Shanshan naturally. Feng Shanshan reached out to take it. The two of them looked like an old couple. So, Mu Qiqi could not help but chuckle. But Feng Shanshan glared at her. Soon, the three of them arrived at the medical school in Hongwen. It was the holidays now, so there were not many students. However, because Mu Tongshua's confession to the teacher was so famous and Mu Qiqi looked very similar to her, her appearance at Hongwen's medical school attracted many people's attention. Look, the body of a celebrity is indeed different. She's popular wherever she goes. Then, they found the doctor involved and asked him about the situation. Dr. Gao, you should know that Tang Yixiao has been killed, right? Can you tell us when was the last time you saw him? The other party was wearing a white coat and a pair of jeans. He looked very refined, and no one could read his expression. The last time we met was about 4 days ago. He came to me to borrow money, and I gave him 20,000. Do you want to see the receipt? Teacher Gao, can you tell me where you were at 4 to 5 in the morning the day before yesterday? Do what? Who can prove it? Feng Shanshan continued to ask. Sleep at home. There should be surveillance cameras in the neighborhood. You guys can go and get them. The teacher was rather magnanimous. Feng Shanshan felt hopeless and dragged Muqiqi away. That was when she noticed another young teacher staring at Muqiqi. You, and Mu Feifei, sisters, Muqiqi answered straightforwardly. Oh, okay. The teacher's eyes were filled with doubt, but he didn't ask any more questions. He just walked past them. Then, Mu Tongxue walked into the school building. She followed Teacher Liu. She didn't expect to see Muqiqi in the school again. It seemed that they would have to meet often if the murder case was not solved. However, they acted as if they didn't know each other at all. One was walking to the left, and the other was walking to the right. Look at you. One is in the sky, and the other is on the ground. If I were a reporter, I would also think that you are abusing your sister. Mind your own business, Mrs. Tang. Muqiqi glanced at her disdainfully. All right, let's move on to the next case. It's quite a lot of work. This Tang Yixiao is really not easy to deal with. They left the medical staff school. At this time, Mu Tongxue was looking at Muqiqi from the corner of the corridor. She was lost in thought. They had been running around the city for a whole day, but they didn't find anything. When they returned to the police station, a senior told them that an important guest wanted to see Tang Yan. Muqiqi guessed that this must be the new forensic doctor's backer. So, she didn't get involved. She packed up and went home as soon as possible. Xing Xiao was still having a meeting in Zhongting. So, Muqiqi took a shower and went to the study to help her man pack his things. However, when she saw Xing Xiao investigating Mu Tongxue's information, she noticed that the surname of the man Mu Tongxue liked was Liu. Wasn't he the teacher who asked her about her relationship with Muqiqi? It seemed that he really cared about Mu Tongxue. However, looking at his information, he was just an ordinary teacher. Logically speaking, it was impossible for Yi Jingqing to ignore his rival in love. So, she frowned and couldn't figure it out. After a while, Xing Xiao entered the study. Seeing her holding the teacher's information, he hooked her chin and said, "What do you want to ask?" "Just ask. Didn't Yi Jingqing cause trouble for this teacher? He went last night, but Mu Tongxue threatened him with death." So, Yi Jingqing didn't succeed, Xing Xiao answered Muqiqi as he took off his coat. Is Mu Tongxue serious? What do you think? I just feel that why would she drag an innocent teacher into this? Hasn't Mu Tongxue thought about how powerful the Yi family is? It's easy for them to crush a teacher. Maybe she thinks that she can protect the teacher. Xing Xiao hung up his coat and walked to Muqiqi's side. He reached out and hugged her, only to find that she had a rare fragrance after a shower. You took a shower. I thought that you would be tired from the meeting. If you smell the weird smell on me when you get home, your stomach will feel uncomfortable, Muqiqi said honestly. Seeing the tiredness on Xing Xiao's face, she felt sorry for him. Lie on my lap. I'll massage your forehead for you. Xing Xiao lay flat on the sofa and used Muqiqi's legs as his pillow. I went to Hongwen's nursing school today and met Mr. Liu. I think he seems to care about Mu Tongxue a lot. He's quite a strong person. Mu Tongxue made it known to everyone that she likes him, but he seems to be quite frank. If Yi Jingqing really hurt her, why do I feel guilty? Xing Xiao enjoyed Muqiqi's gentle touch and closed his eyes. Don't worry. I have my own arrangements. Really, I can't hide anything from you. Xing Xiao smelled the fragrance on Mu Qiqi's body and gradually felt sleepy. It had been a long time since he laid on the little one's body peacefully. She always had this magical power to comfort him. Chapter 636. Mu Qiqi did not think about what Yi Jingqing would do. But it was obvious that Xing Xiao could not let it go. Mu Qiqi reached out and touched Xing Xiao's handsome face. Her heart was full of reluctance and pity. She did not want Xing Xiao to carry her past. I've almost forgotten everything that happened in the past. You can forget, but I can't. Although Xing Xiao's eyes were closed, his tone was firm and unquestionable when he said that. Mu Qiqi smiled and did not say anything. Anyway, this man knew what he was doing. She did not need to worry at all. What about Yi Jingqing? After he failed to kidnap Mu Tangxue for the first time, he changed his strategy. He gave Mu Tangxue all kinds of expensive things because he wanted to tell the whole school that Mu Tangxue belonged to him. Not just any teacher could compare to him. If it were in the past, Mu Tangxue would have accepted all the gifts. But now, she had the guts to throw all the things Yi Jingqing gave her into the trash can. When Yi Jingqing was free, he went to the school to pick Mu Tangxue up. When he saw Mu Tangxue ignoring him, he could not help but sigh. Is this still the Mu Tangxue I know? Mu Tangxue knew that he was at the school gate, but she still walked around his car and went to her shabby little house. Yi Jingqing could not help but get out of the car and stop in front of Mu Tangxue. Tangxue, is this how you treat your brother Jingqing? Brother Jingqing, I have told you very clearly. I have someone I like. I hope you will not disturb my life anymore. Mu Tangxue, I have done so much for you. Aren't you touched at all? Yi Jingqing grabbed Mu Tangxue's arm and said, come back to me. Only I can give you happiness. What can that poor teacher give you? I can give up everything, but I like Mr. Liu. So, Brother Jingqing, I am really sorry. Having said that, Mu Tangxue broke free from Yi Jingqing's arm. What's wrong with me? Tangxue, tell me. I can change. When you were young, you were so attached to me. In order to protect you, I made Mu Qiqi suffer a lot. In order to find you, I did not hesitate to steal corpses. I even offended Xing Xiao. How can you not like me and like someone else? After hearing what Yi Jingqing said, Mu Tangxue turned around and looked at him. Do I have to like you just because you like me? To be honest, Yi Jingqing, I've never asked you to do these things for me. Isn't it your wishful thinking? If I used you, then you can think of me as despicable and shameless. Yi Jingqing's heart was in a mess. Because he did not know what was going on with Mu Tangxue. Why was she ignoring him? I know. That teacher must have done something to you. Otherwise, why would you be so loyal to him? Having said that, Yi Jingqing turned around and went back to his car. That's right. However, Mu Tangxue knew that something bad was about to happen. So, she stopped a taxi and rushed to Mr. Liu's house. But Yi Jingqing was crazy. He drove very fast. When he reached the teacher's door, he knocked on the door like a madman. He even disturbed the neighbors in the building. Mr. Liu had no choice but to open the door. Who are you? Yi Jingqing entered the door and kicked Mr. Liu's abdomen. Then, he picked up the ashtray on the coffee table and smashed it on Mr. Liu's head. Blood gushed out of Mr. Liu's head immediately. But Yi Jingqing did not give up. At this time, Mu Tangxue caught up with him. Before Yi Jingqing made his next move, she stood in front of Mr. Liu. If you want to hit someone, hit me. Yi Jingqing looked at Mu Tangxue in front of him. He grabbed her and threw her to the side. It's all because of this man that you fell in love with him and lost yourself. I want him to die today. Mu Tongxue did not say anything else. She called the police and jumped on Mr. Lu again, intending to protect him with her body. Yi Jingqing was crazy. Fortunately, the neighbors came to help and pinned Yi Jingqing to the ground. Otherwise, no one knew what kind of terrible consequences he would cause if he went crazy like this. Mr. Lu, are you okay? Mr. Lu did not have time to answer because he fainted on the ground. Soon, the police came and brought Yi Jingqing back to the police station. At the same time, the ambulance sent Mr. Lu to the emergency room of the hospital. Mu Tongxue was covered in blood. She was obviously frightened. No, she was more angry and guilty. When she arrived at the hospital, she walked along the corridor in a daze. After the doctor's diagnosis, he told her that Mr. Lu needed an operation and asked her to pay the fee immediately. Only then did Mu Tongxue realize how troublesome she was. She had brought disaster to the person she loved. She had no other way. The only person she could think of was Mu Qiqi. Because she knew that only Mu Qiqi could help her. Doctor, could you please give me an hour's time? I'll go and collect the money. The doctor saw that she was dressed plainly, so he nodded and agreed. You must be quick. The patient cannot wait. Mu Tongxue nodded and went to the criminal investigation team immediately. Because she did not have Mu Qiqi's contact information, she could only go to the police station. Feng Shanshan was still in the police station. When she saw Mu Tongxue covered in blood, she thought it was Mu Qiqi. But after a closer look, she knew that she was that man's sister. Sister, can you help me contact Mu Qiqi? I have an urgent matter to attend to. Feng Shanshan took a deep breath. She could only call Mu Qiqi in the middle of the night. Your sister has come to the police station. She is covered in blood. You might need to come and deal with it. Give her the phone, said Mu Qiqi. Feng Shanshan passed the phone to Mu Tongxue. Your sister wants to talk to you. Sister. Mu Tongxue's tears flowed out. I know I have wronged you in the past. But now, only you can help me save Mr. Lu's life. Yi Jingqing, that scumbag, broke Mr. Lu's head. Mu Qiqi could not feel Mu Tongxue's sadness when she heard this. She only knew that Mr. Lu was innocent. So, she turned around and looked at Xing Xiao. Su Che is dealing with it. The operation is in progress, said Xing Xiao, who was sitting on the bed. Mu Qiqi answered Mu Tongxue. We are saving him. But for the sake of Mr. Lu's safety, I think you should stay away from him. He is just an ordinary person. You should have thought of the consequences when you let everyone know about it. Mu Tongxue nodded. That's right. I have never liked anyone. I don't know how to like someone, Mu Tongxue said, sobbing. But now I know. But how can I protect him? Sister, please. Chapter 637. I will. I will. Sister, please protect him. Don't let him get hurt because of me. Whenever Mu Tongxue thought of Mr. Lu covered in blood, she felt terrible. She couldn't help but blame herself. So, after she went to school, she went to find Mr. Lu's best friend to take care of him in the hospital. Then, she went to the police station. Yi Jingqing and his mother had just walked out of the police station. Because Mama Yi had offered money to bail him out and Yi Jingqing was sincere in admitting his mistake, it depended on how Mr. Lu would deal with the matter after he woke up. Mu Tongxue looked at Yi Jingqing from afar. She had never felt so disgusted before. She even imagined poking thousands of holes in Yi Jingqing's body. Mama Yi saw her and quickly came up to her. Tangxue, are you okay? Mu Tangxue looked away in a daze and nodded coldly. Your brother Jingqing was just impulsive. Tell the teacher not to sue him. We can discuss how much he wants, Mama Yi said, grabbing Mu Tangshua's shoulder. Mu Tangxue looked up at Mama Yi. Auntie, I'm very grateful that you saved me and helped me. I can't repay your kindness. But this is not a reason for Yi Jingqing to hurt the innocent. Tangxue, Yi Jingqing tidied his clothes and looked at Mu Tangxue condescendingly. This is what he deserves for seducing someone else's woman. Really? Mu Tangxue suddenly smiled. But it was a creepy smile. You probably haven't seen the real Mu Tangxue. You are mine. You can only be mine. Mama Yi looked at her son helplessly and pushed him into the car. You go back first. I'll go to the hospital with Tangxue to see the teacher. It's best if he's dead. Yi Jingqing had completely forgotten what he had said to the police just now. His smile was filled with despair. In order to stop them from quarreling, Mama Yi quickly held Mu Tangshue's hand and stopped another taxi. But when they were in the car, Mama Yi still wanted Mu Tangxue to calm down. Tangxue, you see, I've treated you like my own daughter all these years. Moreover, the person who was injured this time is an outsider. You won't report your Jingqing for an outsider, will you? He really is innocent. Mu Tangxue said nothing and only looked out the window. Soon, the two arrived at the hospital. At that moment, Teacher Lu's surgery was over, but he was not awake yet. Mr. Lu's colleague was guarding at the door. He knew that it was all because of Mu Tangxue. He looked at her with disgust. Miss Mu, I always thought that you were just an immature girl. That's why I never said anything bad about you in front of Zhanfeng even though I didn't like you. But look at what you have done to him. Putting aside the fact that his head was smashed for no reason, it's still uncertain whether the school will accept him or not. Are you only satisfied when you completely destroy him? Mu Tangxue dropped to her knees at those words. I'm sorry, what's the use of apologizing? Can you stop pestering him? As long as he's safe, I swear that I will stay away from him and never disturb him again. Mu Tangxue cried on the ground. It's my fault. It's all my fault. The teacher did not want to lose his temper on his student, so he waved his hand. You can go now. Don't ever appear in front of Zhanfeng again. Is he safe? The teacher nodded. Then I'll go. Mu Tangxue was in great pain. Well, I'm Yi Jingqing's mother. I'm here to apologize to Mr. Lu on his behalf. Mama Yi seized the opportunity and said to the teacher, we will be responsible for Mr. Lu's medical expenses. No need. The teacher rejected her directly. Do you think you're so great just because you have some money? As long as you don't appear in front of Zhanfeng again, it will be the best help you can give him. Then, may I be so bold as to ask, can you not sue my son? The teacher looked at Mama Yi and sneered. We are poor. We can't afford to offend him, but we can afford to hide from him. Mama Yi breathed a sigh of relief when she heard the answer. That's good. If anything happens to Mr. Lu in the future, please call us. Mu Tangxue glanced at Mr. Lu's ward again and got up from the ground. She did not cry anymore. But she would remember this grudge. She said that she would let Yi Jingqing see her true self. Not only that, she had no other choice but to protect Mr. Lu. So, after leaving the hospital, she planned to get in the car with Mama Yi. But Mama Yi had other plans. Tangxue, after this incident, I want to send you abroad. What do you think? It's better for everyone. Okay. I'll listen to your arrangement. But I'm too dirty tonight. Can I go to Yi Mansion to wash up? I lost the key to my house just now. It's better if you go and talk to Jingqing, said Mama Yi. Mu Tongxue smiled. Just like before, she put on a show to deal with Mu Qiqi. Ever since she met Mr. Lu, she had decided to be the most authentic version of herself. She did not want to go back to the past. But for Mr. Lu, she had to become the old Mu Tongxue. It was all Yi Jingqing's doing. Soon, they arrived at Yi Mansion. When Yi Jingqing saw Mu Tongxue, he went up to her immediately. Tongxue, Mommy Yi thought that Mu Tongxue was going to talk to Yi Jingqing. But Mu Tongxue said, I promise you that I'll be your girlfriend. Mommy Yi's face changed, but Yi Jingqing was overjoyed. Are you serious? But I have a condition. You can't disturb Mr. Lu anymore. I'll quit the nursing school too. As long as you're by my side, even if you want the moon in the sky, I'll give it to you. Not to mention letting go of a mere teacher. If you don't keep your word, you'll have a dead body. Of course. Yi Jingqing hugged Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue held back her disgust and did not push Yi Jingqing away. A few seconds later, she asked, Where do I stay? You sleep in my room. I'll sleep in the guest room. I'll sleep in the guest room. Because she knew very well that if she smelled Yi Jingqing's scent, she would feel nauseous. I'll bring you there. After that, Yi Jingqing helped Mu Tongxue to leave. But Mommy Yi stopped him. She never thought that she would lead a wolf into the house. Chapter 638. Auntie, if you don't want me to be your daughter-in-law, why don't you talk to your son? Mu Tongxue looked serious. You. Mu Tongxue, don't forget who brought you out of the slums. I didn't expect you to be so ungrateful. Mommy Yi found it hard to accept. I told you, if you want to find someone, find your good son. Otherwise, I would still be staying in the slums. Who begged you to come and fetch me? We all know who you are doing this for. But no one can stop your son now. What do you want me to do? Mommy Yi choked. She knew very well that Mu Tongxue did not have Yi Jingqing in her heart. She only agreed to Yi Jingqing's request because she wanted to protect that teacher. I will protect that teacher for you. You don't have to do it yourself. You can't protect him. Mu Tongxue looked at Yi Jingqing. Aren't you leaving? Yi Jingqing could not listen to anything now. As long as Mu Tongxue was by his side, he would be willing to die even if she asked him to. Yi Jingqing. Mommy Yi was helpless. She could only wait for them to leave and call Papa Yi. Come back quickly. The house is in chaos. You still have to go on a business trip. When they arrived at the guest room, Yi Jingqing squatted in front of Mu Tongxue and held her hand. Tongxue, I've finally waited for you to come back. Mu Tongxue resisted the disgust in her heart and let him hold her right hand. But after a while, she said, Let go. I'm tired. Okay. You rest. Then, Yi Jingqing stood up and touched Mu Tongxue's fringe. I will make sure you live a happier life than Mu Qiqi. Don't let me know that you are causing trouble for Mr. Lu behind my back. Why would I? I can't thank him enough. Mu Tongxue's eyes were deep. She did not want to live a happier life than Mu Qiqi. In this life, when she first met Mr. Lu, she knew that it was a disaster in her life. Perhaps she had done too much evil in the past, so she could not get Mr. Lu's love. But so what? At least she could protect the person important to her and never let him get hurt again. As for Yi Jingqing, his suffering was yet to come. The next day, Mu Qiqi woke up early in the morning. She wanted to go to the police station directly, but before she left, she saw that Xing Xiao had received a call from Yi Jingqing. Chief Xing, I'm sorry to call you early in the morning to tell you the good news. Tongxue has returned to me. Is that so? Well, congratulations. Xing Xiao did not show his joy at all. You should feel bad, because I'm going to make Tang Xue shine even more brilliantly than Mu Qiqi. That's the last thing you want to see, isn't it? If you're done, I'm going to hang up. You don't like it? It's not that I don't like it. It's just that the hospital called and said that Mr. Liu has woken up. I'm going over to take a look now, so there's no need to chat with you. With that, Xing Xiao hung up and turned to look at Mu Qiqi. I really should change my phone number. Otherwise, the outside world will think that anyone can talk to me directly. It's annoying. Mu Qiqi laughed. You're too cruel. Yi Jingqing is the one who is annoyed now. He seems to be very proud, but he's just a paper tiger. Mr. Liu's existence is enough to make him feel bad. Mu Tangxue has gone to the Yi family. I know Mu Tangxue too well. If she goes to the Yi family, she will only turn them upside down. Mu Qiqi glanced at Xing Xiao from the corner of her eyes. Do you believe me? Xing Xiao snorted and pinched Mu Qiqi's chin. If I don't believe you, who else should I believe? Mu Qiqi quickly pecked him on the lips and left the bedroom. I'm going to the police station. Xing Xiao straightened his body and adjusted his collar. Then, he waved at Mu Qiqi. Hurry up. Mu Qiqi wrapped herself in a thick coat and got into Su Che's car. Mu Qiqi thought for a while and felt that she should learn how to drive. At least, it was meaningful for Su Che to follow Xing Xiao. When Mu Qiqi arrived at the police station, she saw Feng Shanshan looking at her from head to toe with her arms crossed. Have you reconciled with your sister? Are you kidding me? Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. The grudge between me and Mu Tangxue can never be resolved in this life. Then why are you still helping her? There are many things to learn. Mu Qiqi did not explain clearly. Is there any progress on the case? Tang Yan has interrogated everyone who is related to Tang Yixiao. But none of them are suspicious. So, Tang Yan thinks that the murderer is still in the school, Feng Shanshan explained. Why did he go to the school building so late at night? Mu Qiqi touched her chin and fell into deep thought. There were so many cuts on his body and there were no signs of resistance. That means it is very likely that he was attacked. Moreover, one cut was enough to make Tang Yixiao fall to the ground. Should I restore the sequence of Tang Yixiao's wounds? Senior brother is already doing that. Moreover, we went to Tang Yixiao's mother last night. But we did not get anything valuable from her. His mother does not know anything about Tang Yixiao. Actually, there should be many people in the school who do not like him. Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and looked at the new forensic doctor. What about him? Will he stay or leave? The higher-ups insist on keeping him. What do you think? Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes. But he has seen how tough Tang Yan is. I think he will not provoke him. He will behave himself. We still need to go to the crime scene today to see if there are any other clues. Do you want to go? Mu Qiqi nodded. Soon, they arrived at Hongwen University. At this time, there was a lot of gossip coming from the medical school. Have you heard? That Mu Feifei dropped out of the school this morning. Isn't that what she should do? I heard that Mr. Liu was beaten half to death by the rich second generation last night because he was jealous of Mu Feifei. The school has decided to fire Mr. Liu. Teacher-student love is against the norm. And it was so ugly. I didn't expect Mr. Liu to be such a person. Mu Qiqi's eyes darkened. If she were Mu Tangxue, she would never expose Mr. Liu. Wasn't it obvious that she wanted to put Mr. Liu on the chopping board? Who was Yi Jingqing? How could she be so unscrupulous? Now, she had implicated an innocent person. Her reputation was ruined and she lost her job. Mu Tongxue should be happy now. Your sister's IQ is worlds apart from yours. Feng Shanshan could not help but laugh. It's no wonder. She has two fathers. Of course, she is different. It's not funny. Mu Qiqi looked at Feng Shanshan coldly. Chapter 639. You deserve to have your life destroyed just because your sister likes you. Some people are heartless and brainless. What can you do to them? Mu Qiqi looked up when she said that, and saw Mu Tongxue at that very moment. Mu Tongxue seemed to have heard what she said just now. Her eyes were filled with self-blame and melancholy. I'm going to Yi Mansion now. Thank you for what happened last night. Mu Qiqi looked at Mu Tongxue. The disgust in her eyes was still obvious. Don't hurt Mr. Liu anymore. Please use your brain to treat the people around you like how you treated me. Mu Tongxue was hurt, but she could not refute Mu Qiqi's scolding. That was why she could only turn around. But before she left, she said one last thing to Mu Qiqi. I will never be your enemy again. But did Mu Qiqi care? She had seen all kinds of disgusting people. She could even tolerate Yi Jingqing. Even if Mu Tongxue came back, she would not care about her. In the end, Mu Tongxue left the nursing school. She had come to settle the withdrawal procedures and to plead with the school not to expel Mr. Liu. She had clarified that the incident had nothing to do with Mr. Liu. She hoped that Mr. Liu could live a happy life from now on. Even so, the school didn't take back their decision to expel Mr. Liu. Tongxue, let's go home. Yi Jingqing took Mu Tongxue's luggage when he saw her coming out of the school. Go home. The nightmare of the Yi family was about to begin. So, is it your plan to let Yi Jingqing take your sister away? Feng Shanshan asked Mu Qiqi when she saw Yi Jingqing leaving with Mu Tongxue. Mu Qiqi snorted. Evil people will be punished by evil people. Let's continue to look at the crime scene. This is the 5th floor. During the holidays, almost no one comes here. Tang Yixiao died at around 4 a.m. in the morning and he was dressed like a woman. So, I'm guessing that the person who killed him could be someone who was having an affair with him here. This is the primary crime scene, but we did not find the murder weapon. Because it was the bathroom, we could not get any valuable footprints. This is a deliberate murder. At least, the murderer had time to prepare. I have a bold conjecture. Mu Qiqi suddenly turned to look at Feng Shanshan and told her what she was thinking. Captain Tang, didn't you check Tang Yixiao's account before? Other than borrowing 20,000 yuan from the doctor at the medical school next door, he hasn't been involved with other people recently. So, the possibility that he's doing this for money can be ruled out. You mean, for love? I thought of another possibility. Have you forgotten what illness he has? Feng Shanshan also understood. Perhaps we can check the people around him. Who recently went to the hospital for a checkup and was diagnosed with HIV. This is indeed a good direction to investigate. After all, once this disease is infected, it will destroy your entire life. They quickly conveyed this idea to Tang Yen. Tang Yen quickly took action. He did not let go of anyone who had contact with Tang Yixiao. The two little girls were quite meticulous. Tang Yen could not help but glance at the two of them, especially Feng Shanshan. A 1,000-year-old man would naturally feel a sense of pride at this moment. But at this moment, someone in the team touched Tang Yan's arm and realized that his body was burning. Captain Tang, are you sick? Tang Yan did not think that there was anything wrong with him, but it made Feng Shanshan's face turn pale. So, she walked up to Tang Yan and reached out to touch his forehead. You're having a fever. Don't you know? Tang Yan looked puzzled. At this moment, Feng Shanshan immediately said to him, "Go for a checkup. See if you've contracted HIV." When everyone heard that, they jumped 3 meters away in shock. Only Feng Shanshan was still standing in front of him. At this time, the forensics team remembered who had performed the autopsy on Tang Yixiao yesterday. "Captain Tang, for safety's sake, let's go for a checkup. You're too worried, aren't you? Even if it's an acute stage, symptoms will only appear in 2 to 3 weeks. I think Captain Tang is just too tired." Mu Qiqi quickly came out to comfort the team. "You're right." After Mu Qiqi's reminder, the others only remembered the principle of infection. But when they heard those words just now, they were shocked. Although Tang Yan felt that it was impossible, he had to go to the hospital to calm them down. "I'm going for a checkup." "You don't have to follow me," Tang Yan said. In fact, this sentence was mainly to remind Feng Shanshan. But Mu Qiqi looked at Feng Shanshan. Her man was sick. As a woman, it would be strange if she was not worried. "Shanshan and I are just about to leave. You're having a fever. Don't drive. Who would be worried? We'll send you there," Mu Qiqi said quickly. Feng Shanshan looked at Mu Qiqi gratefully. It was rare for this person to be so understanding at such a critical moment. Tang Yan looked at Feng Shanshan and could only nod in the end. "The rest of you go to work as usual. Go to the hospital immediately to investigate the suspect." No one doubted the relationship between Feng Shanshan and Tang Yan. After leaving the police station, Mu Qiqi asked Feng Shanshan to drop him by the side of the road. "Send him there. I'll leave the rest to you. Thank you for today. Look at how anxious you are." Mu Qiqi said disdainfully. "I'm sure that he just didn't sleep well because of the high-intensity work. As for whether you did too much shameful things in the bathroom and caused the cold, I don't know." Feng Shanshan looked back and saw that Tang Yan had already fallen asleep. What shameful things did he do? Last night, Tang Yan lay at home for less than 2 hours. If she hadn't called, Tang Yan probably wouldn't have thought of going home at all. Even if he went home, he would just lie down perfunctorily. Soon, the two of them arrived at the hospital. Feng Shanshan immediately woke Tang Yan up. But how could she carry Tang Yan with her weak body? It was only when the people from the hospital came that he was sent to the emergency room. "Doctor, he performed an autopsy on the deceased with AIDS yesterday. So, please do a checkup for him." "Don't worry, madam. You can go through the procedures first. The doctor will do a good examination here," the doctor answered Feng Shanshan. "Don't worry too much. According to my experience, he just has a common cold." In fact, Feng Shanshan was also a medical student. Although she didn't practice medicine to save people, if it weren't for the fact that she was too worried, she could actually tell what exactly Tang Yan had: a fever. Chapter 640. Tang Yan fell into a deep sleep in the emergency room of the hospital. When he woke up, his body temperature had returned to normal, and his fever had subsided. The doctor came over to check on him and smiled. "His physical condition is really good. Don't worry, Miss Feng." Feng Shanshan looked at Tang Yan. She wanted to let him sleep for a while more, but Tang Yan got up from the bed. "Let's go." "Are you sure?" "I don't need to see a doctor. I just want to reassure the people at the station. After all, he did not touch the blood of the dead body when he was doing the autopsy yesterday. Even if he did, there was no wound on his hand, so it was impossible for it to be infected. He was still the same. He could risk his life to solve the case." When they walked out of the hospital, Tang Yan received a call from the station. The suspect was confirmed to be a boy from Tang Yixiao's dormitory. He was diagnosed with AIDS in the hospital last month. The case is almost solved. Tang Yan kept his phone and said to Feng Shanshan. They got into Tang Yan's off-road vehicle, but this time, it was Tang Yan who drove. If I had parents at home and wasn't alone, would you be so busy that you couldn't even see your tail? Tang Yan tilted his head and looked at Feng Shanshan. What kind of answer do you want me to give you? It's up to you. I have time to accompany them for New Year's dinner. What if there's a murder case? I'll take you with me. Don't you want to do an autopsy? Feng Shanshan sighed. She knew that this man could not say beautiful words. Of course, she did not need to listen to beautiful words. All right. At least you won't leave me behind. Tang Yan tilted his head and looked at Feng Shanshan again. This time, he did not say anything. They returned to the station as fast as they could. The seniors at the station had already brought the suspect to the interrogation room. That person was called Yuan Bo. He was good-looking and would definitely be popular among the girls in school. Feng Shanshan saw Tang Yan entering the interrogation room and called Mu Chichi. I've caught the suspect. Are you coming? Mu Chichi certainly wanted to confirm her guess, so she rushed back to the station. Yuan Bo, 22 years old. He and Tang Yixiao are students of different faculties and share the same dormitory. The two of them have small conflicts every day, but neither of them takes it to heart. The senior in the police station explained to the two of them, we also looked for him before, but he was very calm and said that he was resting in the dormitory. His roommates can testify, so we didn't suspect him. In the interrogation room, Tang Yan got Yuan Bo's medical records. He did not go straight to the point. Instead, he asked, can you tell me why you got this disease? What else could it be? How are you going to guard against such an unruly person in the dormitory? Yuan Bo seemed to be trying his best to control his emotions. Although he deliberately lowered his voice, Tang Yan could still hear the trembling in his voice. So you got it in the dormitory. Those people with AIDS should just die by themselves. Why do they have to involve innocent people? We were raised by our parents. What did we do wrong? Yuan Bo's eyes were red. Do you know what that bastard said when I found out I was sick? He said that you deserved it. So, you couldn't help but do something to him. Tang Yan continued. What else could I do? Can the law punish him? Who can give me a fair trial? I knew that I would have to take medication for the rest of my life after I got this disease. No one would be willing to marry me, and no job would be willing to accept me. I can die if I want to, but I want to drag him down with me. Do you know that when my parents found out about my disease, they thought that I was fooling around outside and they both fell sick. My grandfather passed away quietly just like that. He didn't even let me see him for the last time. What did I do wrong to be treated like this? Did he deserve to die? Did he deserve to die? Yuan Bo's questions echoed in the interrogation room over and over again. Everyone, including Tang Yan, was silent. You guys can interrogate the rest. Then, Tang Yan got up from the interrogation room. Mu Chichi and Feng Shanshan were no longer excited about catching the criminal. They could only sigh helplessly. There's no one else here. To be honest, if it were me, I might not have done better than Yuan Bo, Mu Chichi said. I have to abide by the law, but if anyone dares to touch my family, I might be more ruthless than him. Don't look forward to it. Your big CEO won't let you face such a choice. I might. Feng Shanshan smiled. If she stayed with a dangerous man like Tang Yan, she might be kidnapped one day. By then, that man might even ignore her for the sake of the case. This kind of situation, just thinking about it would make one's heart turn cold. The case is over. I hope I can relax for a few days. Let's go home, Muchichi patted Feng Shanshan's shoulder and said. Meanwhile, in the hospital. Not long after Mr. Liu woke up, he received the dismissal notice from the school. Lying on the bed, Mr. Liu looked at the notice and sighed. Actually, I don't understand how I offended a rich man. I could have gotten a title this semester, but it's a pity that I can't even be a teacher now. I've contacted another school and recommended you to teach there. At most, you can start over. It's better than wasting your time here, said Mr. Liu's friend. Mr. Liu's friend said, You haven't asked Mu Tangxue anything since you woke up. What are you thinking? Maybe I owe her in my previous life, and I've paid her back in this life, said Mr. Liu. But I hope I won't see her again. I thought you really liked her. No matter how bad I am, I won't like a student. Besides, she's not a good student. I'll just take it as my bad luck. But I don't blame her. She's still young and doesn't know how to protect the people around her. Then, Mr. Liu closed his eyes and was about to rest. But suddenly, a man in a suit entered the room. Hello, Mr. Liu. I'm Mr. Yi Jingqing's lawyer. Mr. Liu said immediately, You can go back now. I won't sue him. No. Mr. Liu, you've misunderstood. I'm here for something else. Then, the lawyer handed a document to Mr. Liu. You'll understand after you read it. Mr. Yi has arranged a better place for you to go. Mr. Liu opened the document doubtfully and looked at the lawyer with a pale face. I'm already leaving. Isn't that enough? It's not enough. Mr. Yi hopes that you will disappear from Jianchuan completely. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.